one that fights to the pain. I'm the new leader, it's time for a change. What you know about living in the rain, living in the cold, hating every day, but then you still want to do it anyway. That's not
Boy, I'm about to forget to put the audio on. I'm over here like already going without the audio. What's up, everybody? This is TEKNOBLAST with SIKSLAYER, and the realist will come in later in about 15 to 20 minutes. We're here with Nintendo pre-orders going wild, and the people are trying to realize that Game Pass has value. We've been telling people that a long time ago, and now they're just like, oh, it does have value. Oh my God, look at all the games that are coming up, you know? And then what else we got? And then the shadow drop of Oblivion.
Out of nowhere. Not completely out of nowhere.
Not out of nowhere, but you know, to the casual, they're like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. Shadow dropped, and you got some publishers saying it sucked the air out of the room because everybody knows the effect of the Oblivion game. So
no, but the Claire Obscure came out today, Expedition 33, and that didn't get because my buddy Bing, the Nintendo guy that I did the stream with back when they was showing off the Nintendo a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
He was concerned that with this release of the Oblivion that it would overshadow Expedition 33, but it didn't really seem to do that.
Yeah,
didn't seem to really do that. It got really high grade stuff like that. Well, I guess we'll talk about that when the time comes. But
man, people are enjoying Expedition too.
Yes, highly rated in the 90s.
Yeah,
like the console warring stayed out of that game. Like console warring never really got his teeth into it, except for Reforge. Jimmy Neutron. He has to be like, it's not a win for Xbox.
It's always got to make it.
Well, the fact that it's on Game Pass isn't a win for Xbox. Okay.
Oh yeah, of course.
A new hot RPG that's highly rated. That's not a benefit to the Xbox community because they don't have to pay for it because it's on Game Pass.
Yeah.
Neither does Oblivion. That's not a win for Xbox either. I'm sure he's thinking that too.
No. That's another fodder. How do they call it? Fodder game.
Yeah.
It's just
Game Pass fodder.
Yeah. That's all it is. Yeah. I forget some of these people that are out there. They're like that. Your usual suspects that always have something negative to say about Game Pass and the Xbox.
Negative Nancy.
Yeah, negative Nancy's like crazy, man. I was like, I completely forget because I blocked them on, I mute them on. The only time I see something, I get reminded of them is a moment like this, like you're saying, or somebody
because somebody will retweet it or whatever. That's how I know.
Somebody retweets like a little clip of what they're saying, and it's just like, okay, what stupid thing did this guy say? All right.
Yeah, shout out to the homie Ray. He put up a video about it or whatever today. So that's how I heard about it. What up, Kieran? Yeah, man, you get to hear the stories about what happened today. What's going on?
So, not much going on over here, man. I mean, still doing my usual thing of not having a job, being a trophy husband that I am. I got to go out and work out, make sure, I show the legs and everything, to... I gotta, keep my body in shape so the ladies can be like, and the wife can be like, hey, keep your hands off my man, And so
they gotta feel like you're desirable to other women.
Yeah,
that keeps her in line because you're desirable to other women.
Exactly, man. And so, gotta do the shopping. I gotta go out there looking all cutesy stuff, make sure. Make sure
you're
the
all
house
well
is taken
shaven and stuff today, huh? Looking all snazzy.
Yeah, exactly, man. And then still continue to look for a job and all that. I did have an interview on.
Pause. Real quick though.
What's up?
All this effort you put into looking good, is it gonna get you any tonight though?
Better.
Be honest. No, be honest. Yes or no?
I better. I'm just gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna be like, I'm too tired. I'm too tired. I have a headache. You know?
I did that the other day. She was so mad. Because I was being sarcastic. Yeah, I was like, I got a headache. And I just rolled over.
Like, yeah, I got a headache. Like, no, I have a headache, and then you pull the covers, like roll up, right? Away. You look away, not even towards the person.
You look away,
yeah.
And she's not even comfy now.
Yeah,
like the way I rolled away. It's funny too. I did that.
And the funny thing
I did that shit out of pretend spite. I wasn't mad at nothing. I was like, yeah.
And the funny thing is, like when women do it, it's just a small little roll over to the other side, right, looking away. But you're a 6 foot monster, something, right? So it's the entire cover. It's going away, you know.
Listen, man. If it was 6 foot, then her cervix would be, like 5 feet away from me. No. It's funny too because I'm supposed to go to New York for the weekend because I gotta go to a baby shower and stuff. So
hey, so I'll ask you a few, but yeah. There's nothing much going on except I did have an interview on Wednesday with Charles Schwab, financial people, and it went really, really good. It was their internal recruiting office, not an external one. It was with Charles Schwab. The guy was really easy to talk to. Like he explained everything. He sounded like he knew what he was talking about and what the hiring manager was looking for. And I fit in sort of in the middle there, which is what they're looking for because they don't want somebody that's overqualified, but they don't want anybody that's new either, right? You just want somebody in the sweet spot, but is also willing to learn and grow within the company. And the duties that they have. And I'm like, well, it sounds good. I mean, it's just more work because of the nature of the business. It's all financial stuff. So it sounded really good. So hopefully I get a call tomorrow about a second interview with the actual guy who's doing deciding, hey, I want this guy. Right. And then if I pass that round, then I actually go to the office to meet everybody in person and take a tour of the place. And then, of course, they have to then decide who they want to go with, right? And then I have another interview on Monday with a pharmaceutical place. And that's pretty much it. It's going to be a Zoom call, so.
That reminds me, of the interview that I had with the cable company. I felt really confident in, and then nothing happened with that.
Yeah.
That really got me dejected because I was like, "Oh man."
That's why I don't. If something goes great. I don't try to keep it ahead of me. Like, oh my god, that's it. This is the one. It's like I know how these things go. I'm just gonna, just another day.
That's how it is.
Not Novartis. That's what Kieran is asking.
Novartis.
No, some other random one that I've never heard of. So
I've never heard of Novartis,
but it's not that one.
Okay.
And that's it. And then, like I said, I went to that so-called career fair just to go because I have nothing else to do today. And it turns out that it was either canceled or never planned because when I called the hotel to see if they validate parking, they said it's like, oh, we're not having it today. I'm like, oh, okay, well, so much for putting the effort in, printing out my resumes and
getting you called.
Yeah, and cleaned up and everything. And they're like, oh, okay, they're not having it, so I'm going to Burger King. I feel like
any panties wet. Oh, I can't make any panties wet. God damn it! I guess I'll go to Burger King.
I'll go to Burger King. I felt like a Burger King day, And so
thought no man ever. What's up, realist?
He's here.
What it do, fella?
What it do,
brother, man?
What it do?
Nothing.
And then I finished.
Hey, either one of y'all get yourselves a Switch? Oh yeah, okay. Y'all talking about the job.
Yeah. And then I finished. Well, yeah, it's just job hunting still. Nothing big. Yeah. And then I finished Indiana Jones yesterday.
You were telling us.
The only complaint that I have, and there's only about maybe 3 or 4 instances of this, is the hand-to-hand combat fight. I don't like the mechanics. I don't know if you got through that.
It's kind of like Rock'em Sock'em Robots or something.
Something like that. Yeah.
It's not the brightest spot.
Yeah, it's not the brightest. No, I don't like the hand-to-hand combat. It's just terrible. I think it's awful. The mechanics and all that and what you got to do. But it's not many of it, so that's the good thing. It's not. There's not many instances of that hand-to-hand combat to deal with, and you just kind of move on. But it was good.
Well, good.
It was good. It's a good game. When it's over, you're like, oh, like I want more. You know.
You never want to deal a lot of something you don't like. That's for sure.
What was that?
I said I saw that coming. That's why I stopped.
Yeah.
Like, I played it like 2 days for like 25 hours.
Yeah.
Whatever Xbox says, I played it for 2 days, and I was like, oh nah. Once I finish this, what else is there?
But
like, there's supposed to be some DLC.
But it depends if you're doing everything. Because if you're doing everything, like the little side things, that the field work is what they call it. It's not called side quests. It's called field work. Then that will keep you busy, right? That will keep you more engaged into that biome that you're in, and then it'll take longer to do, to complete.
Because once I realized how much I left undone in the Vatican, I took my time in the next 2 areas. You know what I mean? There were so many, at least 20. Because I spent a lot of time in the Vatican. The Vatican is huge, right?
Yeah.
But there's still so many side quests and people to meet, and what do they call pamphlets to buy in exchange for medicine, stuff like that. Man, I left undone because I didn't even know that it was there to do.
Yeah.
But I don't want to. I don't like replaying games because I spent so much time playing them the first time. But and there's so much left undone in the Vatican though.
Oh, the same here. I got tons left in everything, in all of them. And I didn't realize, I just kept going with the flow of the game, right? It's not like I intentionally left a lot of stuff. I just kind of went with the game, and then because it's so good. And then I realized, it's like, why? It's like I'm getting my ass kicked here. Every time there's a fight, there's some interaction with the enemy. Well, I didn't realize that when you pick up those bottles of medicine, you can go to the pharmacy and up your health. So pretty much 80% of the game, I was with the standard health bar.
You're playing on extra hard,
right?
So this is why we need books back. This is why I'm on the side of #physical, but I can see that the paradigm has already shifted to digital, so I'm just leaving it alone.
Yeah.
But that's the type of stuff that you would have read in a manual.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They leave it to you the onboarding, but I know that they're caught between having to keep people interested in playing the game too, so they don't want to give them too much information and just let them play.
Yeah.
But there's so much that you won't know about a game unless you go read all those how-tos.
Yeah, exactly. So, if I knew early on that picking up those health bottles and just collecting a number of one, you can go to the pharmacy and up your health bar. Same thing for what's that other indicator? Your stamina. Right? You can up your stamina too before you get, because you get tired pretty quick if you're running or something else. And I didn't realize you can upgrade that to have more of it until 80%.
You're lucky they didn't make it where certain shit that you did depended on your stamina or whatever, or your health being a certain length. Otherwise, you physically can't do it because that would have been a problem.
So when I'm fighting these hand-to-hand combats, I notice that I'm trying to dodge, and dodge eats up your stamina, and I'm not able to compete really with the guy. So I got to get crafty.
What I'm saying.
So I have to get crafty to get away from the guy, so I could lay in some punches. And that's when I started. It's like, how can you upgrade these things? Because I have so little of it, and they completely destroy me. And finally, that's when I realized, I can upgrade my stamina. I can upgrade my health bars. And it was already towards the end of the game, so it was too late. So the only thing I did was upgrade my health, because I was able to. I collected so many of them, I was able to almost max it out towards the end of the game. Right?
Figures.
But I never did a stamina. So when at the end of the game, the last battle is a hand-to-hand combat. I had to get really crafty on how to dodge and protect myself so I can lay in some punches, because he hits me, then I'm gonna get hurt really fast because I'm tired now, not because of my health.
Yeah.
So
and that's what I was saying before. Like you're lucky they didn't make it super difficult where there's certain parts where it's just nigh on impossible with that little health or stamina in your case where you can make it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it was getting that close until you figured it out.
It looks like it was good game design, right? Because like if you didn't have it, they gave you enough so where you could max it out. Because I know what you're talking about. Because when I ran through Dying Light with Legal, I was like, bro, he didn't want to do the level up, so he just wanted to go straight through it. I was like, bro, if you didn't have anybody to teleport you to them, you wouldn't be able to cross this barrier.
Yeah.
Because you or like on a Zelda game where what's the name of that game? Immortals, where if you don't upgrade your stamina, you can't climb that mountain.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. And so, but overall, so those are some minor complaints that the hand-to-hand combat, I just didn't like it. I just did not. I could do without it. But
I think everybody thought that was a bad choice from the beginning. Yeah. First-person hand-to-hand combat. It's just like, I knew that would be the least fulfilling part of the game before I even played it, but it's minor.
Yeah, it's minor. It's very minor. Yeah. But then, take away that, dude, the game was just great. It was fantastic. I mean, it's an Indiana Jones movie.
Indiana Jones.
It's Indiana Jones. And then with the voiceover, it's just, that guy is on point. Yeah.
Troy Baker. Yeah.
You don't realize it's somebody, you think it's really Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
That's how good
Harrison Ford had something to say about that at the Game Awards, remember?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, we talked about it on the show, remember?
Yeah. I remember now. Hey, speaking of you there, Realist, so since that's what he's been playing, what have you been playing? Did you check your Steam account lately?
Did I do what?
Did you check your Steam account lately?
Do what?
Check it? I just played.
When was the last time you looked at your Steam account? Since, I don't know, the past
I don't
couple
check
days.
it. Because you already know, like, Cookie Cutter, Clicker, whatever that game is playing, right?
Okay.
But like, well, so is there? Let me see. Yeah, that's what I'm about to see right now.
You should go look.
Because when you ask me like that, it's like, you know what? Let me, because man, I haven't been checking it because
you put 2 and 2 together. You're no dummy. There, look.
When we asked me the second time, I said, okay, all right, let me go see that.
Yeah.
Let me go see. I see. I got a gift from somebody named SIKSLAYER.
Oh, snap.
There you go.
Is it a free game?
No. Why would I give him a free game?
He gave me no. He gave me. It says horse trading cards.
What? No. What the hell? You're playing, right?
No, I'm gonna keep looking. I'm on mobile. Oh, appreciate that. You know how many times I didn't buy that game?
I know. I got him RoboCop.
Oh,
Road
City?
Yeah.
I'm driving in busy Houston, man, and this person just would not let me over. I was about to tell you, except gift, of course, bro, because they got DLC coming out for it, right?
Right.
And then
Unfinished
it's in the
business.
wish list, and it's like 80% off. I was like,
exactly.
How can you not buy it 80%
I already owned
off?
it. I already owned it.
Damn.
Yeah. So I got it for like $10, but I saw it. I'm like, I already own this because when they announced the DLC, I bought the game and the DLC. It was on sale still when they announced the DLC, right? And so I bought it and the DLC ahead of time. And then yesterday I was looking, and like I've said, I really like RoboCop 2, right? And there's a DLC for that as well because the game is on sale. So I said, yo, let me get this for him and the DLC for me. And I also was playing it on Fatal Fury. It came out the day before yesterday, I think. And so on Steam, was playing that. And then I was playing this other game that I just happened to release yesterday. It's 10% off on release. It's like Space Harrier. It's called Ashura the Striker. It's like a game like Space Harrier. If you ever played Space Harrier, it's definitely a clone of it with modern graphics. It's on sale, 10% off, less than $10 if I'm not mistaken. Fun little game. Oh, you seem to know the game I'm talking about, though. You saying, "Yup." It was on your radar.
Look, bro. There's so many games.
It is.
Yeah.
And that was another. And then like I like shmups. I like throwback games too.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like there's so many games that we have, bro.
Yes.
And that's why I ultimately didn't buy RoboCop, and I appreciate it because I've been looking at it because everybody, especially people in our age bracket that have played the game, love the game. It's kind of like Indiana Jones. It's a RoboCop game, and if you loved Murphy, as a young boy, you loved RoboCop. There's nobody that I've seen that plays it as legal. Drew, what's his name, Frog Boy. Everybody that I've seen that I kind of value their opinions, love the game, and this is smart because you look at Game Pass, right? So everybody, I think that's starting to lose steam because of the greatness that is Game Pass. Like the greatness is starting to be undeniable, but like when you look at a game like Pinocchio, Neo is.
You mean the Capcom game when you say Pocono?
That's a Pinocchio.
Yeah. The Pinocchio. I know what you mean. That Capcom game. That was on Game Pass.
Bootleg Bloodborne.
Oh, Liza P.
Liza P.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so you see how Liza P was. Well, you said Capcom. I was like, huh? It's Neo is. I was like, But
Capcom published it or Capcom?
I don't know.
The Capcom that game. I think they did. I think they did.
We could look at it, but like,
man, I want to.
Anyway,
play
so
Liza P
you see,
so
it was in Game Pass. It was in Game Pass all this time, right?
Yeah.
And free for everybody to play. But then the DLC comes out, and they make money on the DLC from all the people who loved it in Game Pass who probably would not have played it.
Yeah.
If it wasn't in Game Pass.
Yeah.
And then you look at RoboCop. Like they sold it for a good price. I think it was like $40. They weren't
initially.
And then now they're selling it $9 because they got DLC to push.
Yep.
It's like this is the
and I
type
bought
of thing.
more DLC because the DLC was on sale too. The other DLC that I didn't get, not the one you're talking about now. Yeah.
But all I'm saying is that this is the type of thing that we should keep an eye out for. These are the types of things that we should invest in. People are putting out good products and finding ways to make their products available to them while they make money off us at the same time. Symbiotic relationship, versus like a Nintendo. This is why, like, when I didn't get the Nintendo last night, I wasn't bothered, bro. It's like, do I really want to pay $80 for games?
That was the one thing. Like, I was never even confident in that, and so I didn't even attempt it. I didn't even attempt to bother. Like, I went to sleep like 11:30, but before then, I was watching Wolf Den, or if you know him on YouTube, he was streaming on Twitch last night, right? At like 11 and change,
right?
Yeah, with the long hair.
What does he talk about?
He talks about gaming in general.
He got like 500,000 subscribers or something like that.
Yeah, he has good video work. Yeah, good guy. So he was doing a live stream about trying to get one online from one of the retailers. So I didn't watch it, but when I was on the line, I'm gonna tell the story later about the Switch acquisition.
You were on the line or online?
I was online. I was in the front of the line. You know what I'm saying? I was online outside, but there was another guy online on the line.
On the line.
Yeah, you can show that to everybody if you have the picture. In the line. He was online in the line.
Okay.
Anyway, what was I saying? God damn. Lost my train of thought with that. Fuck. I am getting old. Holy crap.
You got mixed up with the online on the line.
Yeah, when you said that, you messed me up. Yeah. What was I talking about? Holy shit.
Online on the line.
Which?
No, before that.
Some guy that you were watching on YouTube.
Wolf Den.
Oh, yeah, Wolf Den. Yes. Okay. So anyway, he was like, so then when I was on the line.
Old, baby.
Yeah. When I was on the line, I was looking at the replay on Twitch.
You were in line.
When I'm in line, yes. When I was in line. I was online on my phone watching the replay on Twitch, right? And looking at the chat. So I fast forwarded to after it was midnight to see what happened. And like within a couple minutes in, Walmart, everybody was sold out except for Amazon. Amazon did apparently their
within
usual.
The first few seconds.
Where
I hate that. It's
right?
like, how's that even possible?
No, in 10 minutes. No, in 10 minutes apparently. In 10 minutes they were saying. except for Walmart. No, except for Amazon. Apparently, what they did was what I realized they often do. They never released it. No, when it's time when they say, "Oh, midnight," everybody's doing it at midnight. They don't do it at midnight. They wait a couple hours, right? They be waiting sometimes a couple hours. They've done this with consoles before. They'll wait so nobody is sitting there hammering their site, and then 3 hours after, so like 2:00 in the morning, I'm hearing that's when they took pre-orders. And then they still took too many, and a lot of pre-orders are getting canceled, I'm hearing.
Oh, wow.
But I was at GameStop, so that's how I got mine. So
you got it.
We'll tell that story when we get to it. Yeah, I'll tell that story when we get to it, because that was something. That was something. That's a story.
I thought about actually going to the store. It's like, I don't care that much.
Yeah. I wouldn't have if it wasn't for somebody else. So, yeah, the pre-orders are up. Okay. But you want to talk other stuff first before I get into that? Because that's going to be like a good...
do the Oblivion thing first, and we'll get to
Oblivion. Ooh, so yeah,
Oblivion
man.
came out of nowhere. Well, okay, people that are in the industry, not in the industry, but are always constantly looking at stuff for video games.
They would have known.
They know. But the casual people just don't know. When they see something like this drop, they go berserk because it's like, oh my God, I wasn't expecting this. This is awesome. This is my childhood game and all that, And so it drops in. I'll tell you this. When it first came out, I remember this because all of us at our office in IT, there was like 4 of us. We got it, including my manager. Right? We got the game. I didn't know anything about Oblivion. I didn't know about the lore. I don't know anything about Oblivion, but everybody was telling me it's a good game. It's a good game. You got to get it. You got to get it, G. You got to get it. I'm like, okay, I'll got it. The same day I played it.
Yeah, the predecessor to Skyrim. Yeah, definitely.
I said, nah, this is not for me. So I had to get rid of it, right? It wasn't for me. It just was not for me at the time. Okay.
Right.
But everybody else, I've never knocked anybody down if they loved Oblivion because it's what they liked. It's whatever games you like, you enjoy. And I've always heard good things about Oblivion. Except my experience was that I didn't like it at the time. It was just like, didn't like it. Well, years goes by. My taste in genre, my taste in games have changed throughout the years, and I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it again because I've played games like Fallout, now Stalker, those type of games that are open world are crazy. I played Skyrim, right? I never finished Skyrim, but I played it. I may just go back and see. It's like, okay, now we're getting a better version of it. Let's see what this game is about. So it'll be my first time ever since launch to play it again once I download it.
I have a friend who, because it was on 360 first before it came to PC, right? I think, or something like that. But anyway, or I have a friend who got it on PC, on 360, right? Yeah. And then eventually he got it on PC, right? And he had to go through a lot of shit to cop like some hackery shit to get the save file off his 360 to convert it so the PC version could understand it.
Oh wow.
But anyway, but on Steam, I've seen a lot of names that I haven't seen in ages on my list, and like the friends activity or whatever list thing, right? That's in Steam that I haven't seen in years, that left my mind. You know how it is, out of sight, out of mind. And then these guys were buying the game. We're buying Oblivion, including this guy, who I have seen over the years, like play other games and stuff. But like, I've seen a lot of people come up out the woodwork that I haven't seen in years pick up this game on Steam. Yeah. So, yeah, man, it's got that crossover effect.
Yeah. But this headline here is saying what we were just talking about earlier. It's like indie publisher boss feels the pain for our team after Oblivion remastered Shadow Drop sucks the air out of the room. And just like we said, you would think Oblivion will kind of take the headlines and gamer time away from other games that just came out like 33 and anything else.
But it really didn't.
And it really didn't. Yeah.
It really didn't. Thank God for that, though. But you have to notice that Expedition 33 got like 90s, like 92 Metacritic. And like I was saying earlier,
without
it can stand on its own, and the console warring was really involved in the conversation. Yeah. Even though it's in Game Pass, for whatever reason, it avoided the console war narrative bullshit, right?
Because it's multiplayer.
Right, it's multi-plat, but even though it's on Game Pass, like that wasn't enough for like shit to really get started, right? Like oftentimes that's enough. This time it wasn't, thank God.
Yeah.
I love seeing that. But like on top of that, it was really well received when they first showed it off. It already had looked really awesome. And so
yeah, I mean, even back then when they first showed it, it looked like, dude, what game is this? It looks pretty badass, you know?
Yeah, so folks has been looking forward to it. So even a great monumental shadow drop as, you know, momentous as Oblivion wasn't enough to keep it down, and thank God for that, bro. Because like I said, Bing was concerned about that, and I disagreed with even the possibility. And in fact, I called him today to tell him that, like we were having a conversation. I was mentioning that to him, but at the same time, thank God it didn't happen. But I didn't think it was possible to happen because it received enough. So and that just goes to show though, Grand Theft Auto, right? Like I'm starting to develop this opinion, like the gaming community or the press, or I don't know if it's the press or the publishers or whatever, are kind of pussy with this being afraid of Grand Theft Auto whenever it's gonna drop type shit.
No, get out of the way, bro.
Like some games like don't conflict with Grand Theft Auto. It's not gonna be a problem, I feel.
No, get out of the way, Stick. Get out of the way.
I don't know about all that.
Listen, it's like I used to have that attitude too until I saw Cyberpunk.
Mm-hmm.
There is nothing that a company will be able to do unless they match that company's marketing budget. Call of Duty, was it Red Dead? It was some other huge games that were coming that moved, right? And then when CDPR announced that they were delaying it again, everybody was upset. It's like, we moved to get out of the way, and you're delaying it again. You know what I mean? Unless you match the marketing budget, which 99% of these companies will not be able to, get out of the way.
Move, bitch.
Get out the way.
Get out of the way, bro. Because,
just like the song.
Look at Cyberpunk, bro. Everybody plays Call of Duty every year, and even Activision got out of the way because they knew they weren't going to be able to overcome that marketing push, bro. They had people playing in booths. You had people like Soy Dude, what's that? The Asian dude, the soy guy, like hyping the game up.
You know who you mean.
Young guy, young,
the horrible voice actor who fucked up that Yakuza role that he did.
He promotes a soy product called Soylent.
Yeah,
I think.
Oh
and so I don't watch him anymore because he just seemed like I stopped watching him years ago because he just seemed very corny and disingenuous. You had that huge marketing push. You had the biggest influencers saying that Cyberpunk was a great game, and they probably weren't lying. It's just that they played it on PC.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But like when Rockstar hits with the marketing, bro, just get out of the way, man. But again, with like Expedition 33, as much as the turn-based G's love turn-based and want it to come back, there's a reason why these games aren't being made turn-based. There's a reason why Final Fantasy moved away from turn-based, man. And the fact is, people aren't checking for turn-based like they used to back in the NES.
Yeah, it's a dying breed.
So, but then another thing, when you look at some of these,
it's a dying breed. You never liked turn-based.
I like no.
You don't have to like it to acknowledge the fact. You know what I mean?
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying the way he's saying it to say it like that. Like, bro, you never liked it, so of course you're gonna say that.
But no, what is that? Dude, he played 3 of them last year. What was that one I played 200 hours in?
I put Like a Dragon. That one's turn-based.
No, a real JRPG.
Another one was
not that one is fake.
Let me see. What's not? I'll look at it. You guys keep talking. I'm gonna look it up. I got my
because there's that one, man. Every week. Every week when we would bring up what we were playing, you were playing that game. Like, dang, Hundreds of Heroes or something like that. Like, are you still playing that game?
100 Heroes. Yeah, 100 Heroes. 24.
Yeah, so like, I was like, wow. How many? So you have to see how many hours, bro. You got a lot of hours.
Like
in
a
that
Dragon.
Game,
Let's see, Like a Dragon. There's that. Where is that game? Because I can't. Oh yeah, Euden Chronicles 100 Heroes.
Euden Chronicles.
Yeah.
Because I remember, bro, for like 6 weeks, he would say, "Oh, I thought it was over, but it's not."
Yeah.
Like, God dang, bro.
Yeah. I thought it was over, and I was like, dude, there's still a long ways. for this.
Every day I used to play what's his name, but I haven't played it since I moved because my Xbox is still packed away. Right? What's that game? There's already a sequel out for it. It's an RPG. Everything's flat, like 2D flat, but like 3D. I forget the name of the game, but there's two of them. The first one was on Game Pass. The second, Octopath Traveler. There you go. That's the game I was playing every day and then stopped when I moved.
You did play that one, and you started playing Mana.
Yeah, and then I moved and I haven't really been playing much. But not of that's on my Xbox. I mean,
yeah,
right. I haven't been playing much, but that's a game, turn-based game I need to get back.
What's up, Romaine? If you're still here,
Romaine.
He's saying Walmart was clutch, where a lot of people were getting screwed as they were doing it on the site when in reality the app was the right way. Well, isn't it the same? The app and the thing and website?
It is, but
but behind
a lot of times the apps are better though.
Yeah. It skips certain like bullshit steps or whatever, and it's more likely to go through because of that. So yeah, Walmart worked out for him. That's cool to hear, bro. So congrats on getting yours. So
I feel the app like will be more clunky when it comes to pre-order, just because everybody's hitting it up at the same time. I don't know. I guess it's different for everybody.
Clunky because of that.
Yeah,
because I was in Best Buy line, but like going back to like Claire Obscure, it's like turn-based is niche. Like, but the people, the loud minority, right? We'll hear from those people because they're going to be very loud. They're going to promote these games. Because I follow one dude, man, and like that's all he plays, Octavian, right? Sixers Octavian or something like that on Twitter, and like he's always asking for JRPGs to be on Xbox. And like some people that's what they love, and like the people who follow him, they're very loud. They retweet, they support because they really want these games. And that's what I kind of don't understand. Like Xbox's the way that they distribute the review codes. Because the one thing I notice when I read reviews on certain games is the people that reviewed the game love the game.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. They love games in the genre. It's like everybody who reviewed Elden Ring were Souls fans,
right?
And then you'll see people like reviewing games that they don't like, and it's like, why are you reviewing it if you know it's not a genre that you like? But Claire Obscure review. Well, I'm pretty sure if I read those reviews, they're turn-based people who want Final Fantasy to go back to turn-based, and they're going to be calling out Final Fantasy at every turn watch.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, when you look at Elder Scrolls is number 3 on Steam with 180, peaked at 190. Claire Obscure is at 30, peaked at 55. Which is still solid.
Yes.
But it's still solid. But they were done no favors by Oblivion dropping a couple days or a day before. Like, no favors.
Definitely.
But see, this is the thing. In the
the
marketplace.
day before, actually.
But in the marketplace, you're going into the gladiator zone, man. Yeah. It's like there are no surprises. Like that you like with Marathon knows that they're the uphill battle because so many people have already beat them to the extraction shooter genre. Claire Obscure, they know that they're in a niche genre, but it's a game that they loved, and somebody invested in them to make a game that they loved, and that's why it came out so well. But that doesn't mean it's going to be a hit. It's a danger zone. You never know what could be the next hit. Because the game I've been playing, made by one guy. And it's not really a game to me. It's just like a little simulator. It's a little
Minecraft
task game.
No, the cookie game.
No. I don't even talk about that game. Y'all do.
You did. You brought it up. You brought it up when you got into the show.
Well, I brought it up because that's why I don't check Steam because it's already blocking Steam. But and then I click shortcuts. But I don't talk about it because it's not a game. It plays by itself, and but Schedule 1 is the game that I've been playing, right?
Oh, that game, yes, that's the game du jour. That's the game du jour. It really is.
What is that one about? Because I've heard about it. You guys brought it up before.
Drug dealer simulator.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yes,
it's basically drug wars. Yeah, it's basically drug wars. The game.
Yeah, I remember.
And it's like I never played drug wars, but basically you're a drug dealer, and the thing is, you get the opportunity to role play however you want. Because I see some people with
hold on a
characters.
second. You said you never played Drug Wars. It was like a text based. It was on like every platform back in the 80s and 90s. You had to have seen it. You really didn't see Drug Wars?
I've heard of it. Never played it though.
Oh, Tech, you know what I'm talking about?
Nope.
Drug Wars?
Mm-mm.
Really?
No.
Wow.
I'm the odd man out. It was a big game. I just never played it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, you hire people to work for you. You're crafting drugs, and you're crafting different breeds and blends and stuff like that. And it's an involved game, and it's a PC game. I think it would die on console.
It's on early access, I think, still.
Yeah, but I still think it'll die on console. That's why I'm surprised to see
it would have never made it on console.
Yeah, I'm surprised. That's why I'm surprised to see they just hit Game Pass. That my my nephew's been holding his weight on Steam lately. He bought Monster Hunter. He bought Schedule One. He bought Repo. He bought what's that game that I was just getting ready to talk about? Crime Scene Cleaner. That just hit Game Pass. And he bought that one too. So like, man. But look, would I recommend it? If you want to have fun, no. But if you like managing base building stuff like that, then that's what it is. Because it gives you like elements of the way that you build your house is like, what's the name of the game? Starfield. You know what I mean? Like that's why I spent so much time in Starfield, because it was mostly base building and manufacturing, and that's what you'll do now. That's what you'll be doing in what's the name of that game? Schedule One. And I played some Oblivion. But see, once I really get into Oblivion, I'm probably not going to play anything else.
Everybody says that.
Probably not going to even stop for, dude, I don't know if y'all remember, but I told y'all, I put 5 years into Oblivion because of all the mods. Yeah. I played Oblivion for 5 years. And now they've already got kits out for to the modders. Or modders got free copies of the game. See, Bethesda is being very like forward thinking with the way that they get mods together. See, Starfield, they weren't, right? They were working on it, but they weren't as ready. With Oblivion, and when Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, it's gonna be just as crazy. Like these people involved, get these people incentivized to start creating mods. You know what I mean? And if Xbox is some type of hybrid, it's gonna be crazy.
There's already mods already for this game. At first, they were saying there wasn't any, blah, blah, blah. That's already been taken care of. There's already a bunch of mods for this game.
Oh, yeah, because they got copies of the game out to the mods earlier. And I didn't know, because I thought that was like the beauty of Creation Engine, but obviously, Unreal.
This is Unreal, so it's different. All the mods that were out before don't work, I guess, or whatever. But
of course not.
It was them who said, "Oh, the mods. There's no mods." So there's no mods. So like I guess the internet took that as a challenge. You know what I'm saying? And then boom, lots of mods, lots and lots of mods. So mod your game how you want, bro. Mods to the shit. That's all I can say. Hey, real quick. I was having a conversation, realist, and I said to someone, yo, I think if you're low on money, right? If you like a young kid or whatever, and you're really low on money, right? Or you're just poor or whatever. Like I grew up I was poor. I can tell you that much. But I feel like a computer or going PC gaming is probably the most cost effective. Yeah. And that sounds crazy at first, but oh hell no, it's not. What you think?
Well, you got the larger upfront investment, but if you can get out front, you know what I mean? Like if you can say,
"What's up? I'm too cheesy."
Shout out to
giving little hearts. Cheesy. I see the little hearts fluttering in my chat.
Yeah, what's up?
Ooh. But no, if you can get out front, right? Like if you can somehow get at least the last gen hardware or current gen hardware, you're really good for like 10, 15 years, bro.
Right.
Now I noticed that they're getting kind of slick about the way that they're doing things, and like certain things for AMD, they're moving from software to hardware, so now you can't use it, or Nvidia like my 30 series couldn't run what was it, DLSS
4.
Yeah, I want to say DLSS 4 and frame
Right.
gen. So I had to
Right.
use AMD frame gen.
But you did get the transformer model with the DLSS, which is one of the most important elements of the DLSS. Like that was, but so yeah, there's examples of like up and down. But
we'll get to
overall,
that, cheesy.
But if you could get out front, you can hold on to that PC for 10 to 15 years, and you could be playing games. Now, if you know you don't have money, then you need to learn how to stay in your lane.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You need to learn how to be content when it's time to be content. Like
don't
feel like you are less than because now you can't run the latest and greatest like everybody else. You're not hitting 300 frames at 8K like other
but then
people are talking about.
You gotta think about the age group. It's like what age is this kid though? I mean, mainly they're probably playing what? Minecraft, Fortnite, maybe 9 to 13. Marvel Rivals. Yeah.
Like ages between 9 and 13, I would say, right? Like I would say like for example, one of the points I made was of all the free games I get in a month alone from Epic, Amazon Prime, you know what I'm saying? Amazon, like across multiple platforms, even Steam has a bunch of games here and there that are either super low cost or just outright free because it's free to play or whatever. Yeah. Right? Like there's so much to play. And even some of that has trickled down to consoles where it's like the most played shit completely, right?
Yeah.
Fortnite, Warzone, all those type of games, right? Yeah. So that's happened at the highest level of piece on console, but generally the landscape isn't that, right? So, but like like I was saying to someone who was like on the line, so I guess I'll use that to transition after we're done with this part of the convo. Like I was saying, like if it was a kid,
say it. It's like I was on the line. You mean
yeah?
online?
Yeah.
No.
Hold the joke for later. But cheesy. We're gonna answer your question in a second, bro.
It's funny.
Jesus Christ. So it's just like I said, like if you have a Steam Deck or whatever, right now, if you don't already have one, don't buy one, right? Because it's too late in the life, and who knows when the second one is gonna come out. It's kind of like anybody who bought the Switch OLED, not knowing that the Switch 2 is coming out this year.
Yeah.
Right? You're gonna feel some kind of way. So there's that. But like you can go in the Steam Deck, you can go to the desktop mode. Now you have a whole PC interface to go and get ROMs or whatever you want for emulation or whatnot. All self-contained within the device. You don't need some other device. And if that's all you got, it's like these kids with these Android tablets where their parents couldn't afford an iPad or whatever, or didn't want to spend for an iPad, right? That's what they had, and they made do, right?
Yep.
You'll make do with what you got. Yep. But I feel like the PC will, or a PC related platform, or even like these tablets now though, or pretty much the same thing. They get you in where you can fit in.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to fiddle with your stuff yourself, but I mean for free or super low cost, you can't be really complaining about that. And there you go. But I feel like, yeah, man. And low key, I'm starting to notice that a lot of people are starting to notice this. And the PC gaming is like it's not the other thing to do. It's like just another one of the consoles almost even.
Yeah.
That's what it seems to be turning into.
But yeah, I don't think that if you like Steam or Steam Deck and you're not concerned with it being so outdated already,
right?
That I think you're safe,
right?
I don't think. See, Valve isn't as inclined to keep refreshing their console. You know what I mean? Like a Xbox, PlayStation, or Nintendo, right? Because even Nintendo took 8 years. Because if you look at it, Steam Deck is only sold at 3 million. Right? They're not in the hardware.
Been out?
3 years?
3 years now.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I know like Sid got his day one, and I ordered mine day one, but I got mine 6 months later or 4 months later. So it's 6 months. But like,
he lost a train of thought too. Old guy.
No, I didn't. I just see a bunch of crap. But like,
yeah, Damn.
I think you're safe. I think you're safe if you like Steam and you like the Steam Deck. Like, I don't think that they're inclined to come out with a new one anytime soon because they only sold 3 million. The fans aren't complaining. The fans are still defending it. The fans are still buying it. If you look at the top sellers, it's still up there. So, like, I don't see
even against the newer stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because they're not Steam decks. You gotta
Right.
understand, like,
it's turning into like Nintendo fanboys or PlayStation fanboys or Xbox fanboys or any other. Like, they hate all the other handhelds. It's all about Valve and Steam and blah blah blah, and that's it. Like, they've developed into their own almost group like that. They're not all like that, but I'm saying, there are some who are like that now.
Well, most of them. I mean, think about it. This is the hardcore enthusiast, device. You know what I mean?
But like, a lot of them, that's all they've had or ever had. They never had anything else. PC wise, maybe they've had consoles. But
look, for them to buy something else would be, what do you call it? If they bought something else, that
heresy?
would be
heresy.
Being unfaithful to Valve. That's a word. That's a better word I'm looking for.
That is blasphemy. That is heresy,
blasphemy,
man.
Yeah.
I was trying to do the Warhammer thing, but my man wasn't rocking with me.
Like honor and courage. Courage and honor.
Yeah, courage and honor, brother. Courage and honor.
Courage and honor.
Courage and honor. Clink. But yeah, man. I think that's what I see. But even if it wasn't a Steam Deck, if it was, say, an ROG Ally, right? Like, they got to use or whatever, or open box at Best Buy, because I know they be selling them at discounted prices. You get them on eBay and whatnot. So, or even outside of eBay, just at Best Buy or whatever, right? So, yeah, like those. Yeah, overall, that's what I'm seeing. I'm just like, wow, you know what? Like, it doesn't take a lot of money, like, because there was a conversation like, oh, this industry, this hobby, getting expensive. This hobby is only as expensive as you want to invest into it, and that's how it's always been. But there's always been games to play, especially now with the internet and stuff. There's a lot of free shit to play that don't cost you a dime. Yeah, just your time. Yeah. You can avoid all, like the pay aspects where they get you to try to pay in some kind of way to monetize you. You could just really just be El Cheapo and avoid all of that shit and recognize it for what it is and still get the entertainment out of it. But
I mean, like, anyway, one can own the Series S and be content with the Warzone, the Fortnite, the Marvel Rivals. So many free options out there. It's like, that's it. I mean, what else is there for you to do,
Yeah. Way cheaper than even this Switch or anything else. So, yeah. So, yeah, let's finally talk about this Switch, bro. So, I had a friend of mine. I spoke about this, right? Like, a friend of mine, he wanted to get one, right?
Yeah.
So we're supposed to go to GameStop, blah, blah. We were talking about this, right? And I said, and you know what I've thought about Nintendo and the Switch. I've been saying it all along. As long as I've been online on podcasts and stuff, like, I've made my opinion known about Nintendo. But I said, I'm giving this low bar of entry, and the presentation, they passed that bar by far. It wasn't until afterward then we found out a lot of details that weren't so cool, right? Yeah. But I did say, as a man of my word, if they do XYZ, and they do, particularly with the Zelda, which I predicted that they would do, and stuff like that, I would buy. And then, so I'll be a man of my word, right? And indeed I am. Word. So my bud called me yesterday. He was like, yeah, man, I want to go. You can pick me up tomorrow at this time, blah, blah, blah. I said, all right, cool. Grab him, his girl. We got to drop his girl at work. She works at the hospital right nearby, the GameStop it went to. But before we went to the GameStop, we drove past the GameStop, right? And I noticed there was a car in the parking lot area that's right in front of it. So I said, hey, I'm going to drive past and see if there's a guy in the car. And there was. And I asked him, hey, you waiting for a Switch? He's like, yeah. He smiled at us, said, yeah. And we said, oh, we'll be back. We dropped off my boy's girl. We came back, right? And then I see 3 guys out the rear view mirror, and I could tell they're gamers, and they're in a car. Yeah. I could just tell. They're
rolling 4 deep, man. You know they're
3 deep, right? 3 deep. And I'm like, oh, there you go. There's some more guys. I could tell these are gamers. They here for this.
I just do it. A long shirt that's untucked, right? So like just some shorts.
You see them in those pictures that I put of the line.
Yeah,
you'll see them to my
put them on the line. Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll see those guys are there. So anyway, yeah, don't use that joke just yet, man. You're ruining my jokes. Stop doing that. I'm kidding. But anyway, so as soon as I said that, my boy's like, let's just go in line right now. I said, all right, fine. I get off the car, click the thing. And I'm first in line, my boy is second, right?
Yeah.
The guy that was already parked there waiting for who was already waiting first.
Yeah.
Right? By the time he gets to the line, the three guys that were gamers that I realized, they're in the line behind us. He's number 6, right? And my boy had told me yesterday that they were going to you got that picture of the thing on the wall, right? You can put that up if you got that. Yeah. Yeah, this, right? He had told me before there was going to be 24 of the bundle with Mario Kart and 10 without.
That's a lot for the bundle. That's a lot of units.
Maybe not. Apparently, yes. Apparently not. I don't know. It still wasn't enough, I'll say. Apparently, from what they were saying with pre-orders getting canceled and stuff. Online orders, not like physical at GameStop or whatever. But so I had already known this number when I said that. So it didn't matter if the guy was number 6 or number 1. He was going to get what he wanted. Except for the camera, but he could have got that too. Anyway, so we wait there. It's the typical stuff. Eventually more people get online, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yo, I'm wondering, is there going to be a mom who's going to get it for their son or something like that? But the line was like 20 deep, so anybody could have got the bundle, right? Yeah, everybody who was there at the line.
34 units together, so.
Right.
If you're within the 34, you're good.
No, but 24 of them are the bundle. Only 10 were the base unit. But so there was like 20 people online, so anybody could get whichever one they want.
Right.
There's enough for either one, right? So eventually this woman comes, and I could tell this is a mom. I mean, come on, mom vibes out the wazoo, right? Yeah. I don't mean it like that, but anyway, you can tell this is a mom, right? Right. And so, I'm sure. Okay. So I'm like, hey, are you getting this for your son or daughter? She's like, yeah, my son, he's doing really good in school, blah, blah, blah. He's a bit on the spectrum, but he does really good, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to get it for him. I'm like, oh, cool. I was wondering if there was going to be anybody who's doing that. Is anybody going to scalp it? Be honest, man. Like, there's enough for everybody. It don't affect me. I'm first in line. I don't care. Is anybody scalping it? There was one guy who kind of had a look on his face. So, and guess who it was?
What, one of the 3 deep? No, the guy that was already there.
The guy on the laptop.
Oh, the guy on the laptop? Oh,
you can show that picture now. Yeah, well, because all I see is the video, so I don't know what you're showing to the group. Okay.
Let's see.
So on the line, there was a bunch of dudes online. No, you have to go to the other thing.
Yeah.
Because our group chat. You're showing our private conversations here.
Yeah. Oh, shit. What am I doing?
Hey, you had tabs open or whatever.
Oh, shit.
Did you close them?
Yeah, I think so. Hold on.
You close them? Control Shift T.
Dang it, I did close them, didn't I?
Control Shift T. Do it again.
I'm so dumb. Hold on. No. I'll get it.
Oh, you know where it is? All right.
I'll get it.
So anyway, I took pictures of dudes on the line, minus my boy, so you're not going to see his face. He didn't want to be pictured anyway. But I knew that.
No.
But I knew that. Knowing him, I knew that. So basically, yeah, you see that guy right there on the laptop right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you see these guys here on my left. You see the guy in the hat, the fro, and the black dude. Those were the 3 gamers.
So was the door behind you?
Yeah, it's behind me.
Okay.
In this picture, from my point of view, Sir is my boy. He's behind me because he didn't want to be in the picture, which I knew. So, like, that guy on the laptop there?
Yeah.
He was on eBay the whole time.
He was on eBay?
He came with the laptop. He got to the end of the line. He was maybe 12 in line or whatever at that point, right? Yeah. I saw when he approached the line. He had a laptop in his hand.
Yeah.
He came and he sat right there.
Yeah.
Right? And eventually, he gave that look like he was the scalper. Because I knew somebody had to be scalping it.
You know,
I've been considering it crazy because it's going up to like $2,500 on eBay. Like,
okay, if you're gonna scalp it, you're gonna scalp it. I mean, there's no way getting away from it. It's gonna happen, whether you like it or not. You have to accept that that's gonna happen, right? But to be in a rush like this, to add it in there already, it's like that's just ridiculous. You know, you're gonna sell it. It's going to sell at a higher price.
But are they going to sell it for $2,500? Like, they can ask for whatever
I've seen a post. I've seen a post for $25. I don't know if it's going to sell that much, but hey, people going to try it.
Like, the store hasn't opened yet. You haven't received your unit. Yes, you're going to get one because of the number of units that's available. But to be in that much of a rush to post it online is like, really?
Yeah, I agree.
It's like,
I agree.
What's the
Like,
rush?
why not? Because it'll take time, especially if you're asking for exorbitant, ridiculous amounts, like 2,500.
Like 2,500.
You know what I mean? Put it out there, and then you get somebody to bite, maybe. You know what I mean? But I think eBay was supposed to be putting an end to selling things that you don't actually have.
Yeah.
I thought that was something
for
that they
for me, if I was going to do this, because, okay, I'll tell you this. If I scored one, I totally forgot at night. I didn't go to sleep until midnight, and I forgot about the whole midnight thing last night.
Yeah.
That I was going to score one and flip it, but I forgot. Right. And, fuck, your goddamn train of thought is contagious. Now I forgot what I was going to say.
Payback, motherfucker. Yeah,
but I was planning to do it. I was planning to order one and flip it. It's just the nature of the game. Oh, but me, I no longer put on eBay. These type of big ticket items, I no longer put on eBay because they hit you hard with the fees. Right?
Yeah, when I sold my Steam Deck, I didn't
they hit you hard with the fees, and not only that, I forgot what the tax rule is. I seen two different stores with the taxes because they starting to report the 1090, not the 1099, but maybe it is a 1099 or some sort of tax form that anything over an X amount of dollars, you gotta report it, and eBay will report that to the IRS, and then you got to claim that during tax season.
Yeah, taxes.
Oh,
you got to report. So now I've completely avoided, like, I'm not saying anything on anything in eBay that I have to ship, and then it's taking a fee out of it. So now I go on Facebook Marketplace, I go Craigslist, I go OfferUp, I go what's that, 5 miles or something like that. Anything that I can go in person and get rid of it and do a cash or Zelle, because I'm done with eBay with these big ticket items, because it's just, you're gonna get hit with taxes. It's like, I don't want to pay taxes.
Well, that's how I feel about
if you did
in general.
But if you did manage to sell your Switch for $2,500, that's $250.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that eBay is going to get. But eBay knows that they're probably the best marketplace out there still, and so that's why they raised the fees and everything. Because it used to, my boy Chet, like, he was making $250,000 a month in gross revenue selling on eBay. Oh
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that's what I said. I made sure to put gross. Say gross, because he was, but that's how big he was doing, and he was only selling iPods.
Yeah.
And so, like, he said eventually people bigger than him.
Yeah.
Well, he said eventually people bigger than him started to come and buy in bulk, to where Apple was like, oh, all right, you have to commit to buying this amount.
Yeah.
And that's what made him stop doing iPods.
Damn.
Because he had to commit to, buying X amount, and that was like big ticket. He wasn't ready for it.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I would sell it on eBay if I just want it gone.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like my Steam Deck. I sold my Steam Deck. I sold my ROG Ally on eBay. I sold the ROG for $500. I sold the Steam Deck. It was only a 64 with the SD card that came with the white ROG. 512 for $400. And they took 50.
Yeah.
Well, I had to pay 50 in fees.
Oh, ouch. Yeah.
But I wanted it gone. It was better than not making nothing back. Because I didn't buy it to flip. I bought it for my son, and then he was like, I don't need it. And then later he asked me for it. I was like, what changed? No, just get away from me. You know what I mean? Because he got an Xbox. My daughter, she has a PC, my old PC, so she was like, I don't need it. Then she started asking for it. I was like, man, I'm gonna sell it.
Yeah.
But I understand. But sometimes you just want things gone, and if you can get somebody to commit to $2,500, and you still take away 22, hey, I'll do eBay.
That's a good profit. That's a good day's work. That's a good day's profit. You feel me? Hell. So
because
anyway,
like when I was doing PlayStations, I was selling for $1,200. Go ahead.
So anyway, eventually they call us in, right? And so I go to pay, and I say, oh, I want this. So what I got was, I got the bundle that comes with Mario Kart. I got the Pro controller. I got a 2-year warranty. I got both the Zeldas. I always did say, I predict that they're gonna do an update for the Zeldas. and package them together or whatever, but they didn't do that. At least sell the updated version that takes advantage of the hardware, so the performance and graphics and blah blah blah, right? And I always said that if they did that, I would buy them. So I bought those two. I bought the memory card, 512 gigs. I didn't buy the camera.
How much is that memory card?
I'd have to look at my receipt. Where's my receipt?
Me have a lying eye. You know you got ripped off.
Bro.
Well, because I know it's a memory card, some new technology. Or
Yeah. It's
it's
slightly faster. Yeah.
Oh, really?
And it's the only one that the Switch tool accepts. So
come on.
I never had to look into it.
Come on.
I don't see.
Hey.
Oh, here it is. $100. $100.
That ain't bad.
That ain't bad. Yeah, that's what I thought. So anyway, I got Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. I got I had to renew my GameStop Pro, right? Because you need that to pre-order. But it made up enough points for everything I bought that I was gonna buy like the 1 year.
I swear, they really get you, don't they?
No, it was cool though, because I had to, because the 1 year for the online service, right? Like the good version that gets you the GameCube games and stuff like that is like $50 a year.
Yeah.
And I clearly have enough points to just use the points to get that.
$50 now?
If you get like the version that has like all the GameCube games. Yeah.
What do you call them? Retro consoles?
Expansion pack, I think they call it.
Yeah, it's an expansion pack, but the retro consoles.
Yeah, basically virtual console.
If you want the Super Nintendo and Genesis, then the price goes up. But without those, it's like $29 a year.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. I get the family one's like $35, I think.
Yeah, so
that's the one I had.
And so all the points I got will be able to pay for that by itself. So all together, like I showed in the picture, right? Although it's kind of hard to see the 8, so it was $989.54. So nearly a G.
So you have no tax, but it says 6%.
No. The tax is there. Now, if you see the tax is there, it says no tax. But if you look at the pricing for everything, like, or the few things that you can see on the receipt, I'm looking at the receipt now. Yeah. Like you hear it, right? Like I'm seeing things are slightly higher price.
That could be toilet paper. You're
but that's the tax. Dude. But that's the tax, bro. Okay, people don't believe me when I have it day one and I unbox it live with some shit. Like whatever.
That could have been somebody else's leg and hand there. I don't know that's you.
Hey, I don't, you know what I'm saying? If folks don't want to believe, hey, you can tell yourself whatever you want because you're jealous. But I got one it's already paid for.
Hey, when you guys dropped off your friend's girl, who was driving the whole time?
Huh?
Who was driving? You?
I picked them up. Yeah.
Then why are you in the passenger seat? See, you would have been in the driver's seat.
Because he drove the way back.
Nah,
he had to pick up his.
Nah, that's not you.
Okay. He drove on the way back, so I was like, "Fuck it, you drive." So anyway, but before I left, my boy got the camera, right? Because he said he wanted the camera. I didn't want the camera, right?
Okay, yeah.
But he said that the guy just told him they have only two, and he got one. And I said, I don't want the camera. So I turned to the guys, like the 3 gamers who were on the line behind me.
So there's only one
and
left.
Number 6, right? The true number 1 on the line, right?
Yeah.
Who's now number 6, right? The true number 1.
Yeah.
I'll say, right? After those guys said they didn't want it, we looked at him. You gonna get it? Because hey, it's the only one that's left. He was like, yeah, I'll probably get it. But there's another one from Hori that looks like a piranha plant, but it's 480p.
That's the only one I would have bought.
But it's 480p. It's not 720 or 1080 like the other official Nintendo one is. Everybody's saying to avoid that one. It looks cool though, but come to find out that it's I didn't know it was a Hori one till today. I thought that was an official special edition Nintendo
Hori?
one or something. I have nothing against Hori. That's what I'm saying. I thought it was an official Nintendo one. I didn't know it was a third party one that's of course it got the Nintendo blessing on it.
I've seen pictures of that one. It looks really nice though.
Yeah, it looks really cool, but apparently it's a lesser quality camera. Yeah. In a system that's already not going to be too high quality.
We don't need like
extra poop on top of your poop. Yeah, we don't need extra poop on top of our poop. You feel me?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All for $60. The 480p neck cam in 2025 for $60.
Yeah, come on,
that probably doesn't even work on a PC.
It should have been 1080 minimum.
For $50. Yeah, for $50 it should have been 1080p, but who knows? Because you can get a PC camera from Logitech. I think that's 4K 30 for like $50 now.
I wonder if you can disassemble a good one and then replace the camera that's in there with something better, because that just sounds
they probably got They probably got some kind of security chip or whatever.
That's just awful, man. It's like, it's like, this one looks really cool, but hey, it's 480, so I'm gonna look like somebody from Minecraft.
Yeah, I don't know why Nintendo would allow them to make a lesser quality one, resolution wise. And they gave them their blessing. This wasn't just some, a third party thing that
Nintendo should have done that instead.
It has the official Nintendo seal of quality on it and everything. So like that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But either way, that's what happened. So June 5th it is that Thursday. Well, the 4th at midnight.
So April, May. So it's just a couple of months away. Not even 2 months.
Less than 2 months away. I'll have it.
So what was this right here? I went to GameStop website just to see what would happen when I pre-order, and it's already down before the first minute.
So the store opened at noon. Wait, was it noon?
Really? Wow, it's late.
No, it was at 11. I feel it was noon because we got there at 9, so we waited for 3 hours. We waited for 3 hours.
That's a nothing wait, man.
Yeah, there was a nothing. And the time went fast, right?
Yeah,
talking gamers talking games like we do here, so it went quick. But at 11 o'clock, I knew that GameStop was doing their online pre-order because everybody did theirs last night at midnight except for GameStop. They did theirs today at 11. The store opened at noon, right? But they did it at 11, right?
Yeah.
So at 11 on the dot, you see it in the screen. It says 11 on the dot with my 5G, right? My 81% battery.
5G UC.
I typed in GameStop.com. I wait for the clock to say 11. I hit load the website. I hit go.
Dead.
That's what it gives me. The site. Okay. A lot of people showed that picture of Cloudflare because I guess they use Cloudflare, right?
Yeah.
With the 2 green dots and the 1 red dot that says the server is down or whatever. I didn't get that. I was so early. I did that at 11 and 0 seconds when I hit on a go for like the website to load up.
YouTube button.
I look at the address. This is some kind of like, and then I hit refresh again. And you know how like the web browser on your phone will give you like a pop-up blocker?
Yeah.
Right. So imagine if I was on my desktop without ad block or any kind of ad block, and there would be a bunch of pop-ups and all types of crap. Right. Yeah. That's what they're trying. I feel like they really had gotten hacked within that quick. Like, a DDoS or not even a DDoS, but like all the people just stressing the website would have been enough to take it down, of course. Yeah. I'm not saying that's not possible and most likely what happened, but from the fact that I saw this at the earliest second, like possible, like this was like a sign.
But it's always like this when these pre-orders happen. It happens like
but usually. Right, but usually what you see is like that Cloudflare error that everybody else posted. Not this. Look at the time in the picture. 11 on the dot in like 3 seconds when I did the little shortcut of my power button and volume down to take the screenshot.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like it was 3 seconds in and I saw that and I said click. And I took the picture.
I don't understand why these retailers do not anticipate that this is going to happen. Right,
the hack part.
I mean, no, not the hacking, but just in general, like
like the stress of the website taking it down.
You're going to get hammered, right?
Yeah.
And with these cloud services that we have now these days, there was no excuse. You can upscale for what you need, right?
Yep.
The days of you got to stand up a number of physical servers are over. Right?
Yeah, man.
Those things are over. You can upscale with virtual servers, right?
Yep.
And only need it for that 1 or 2 hours of launch.
Yeah. Yep.
And then scale back down to what you were before. It's not going to cost you any that much more when you're only using it. You use what you need, which is 2 hours, maybe 3 at the most.
Well,
right.
Well, what I'm hearing is a lot of people eventually they fix the site, right? So I believe somebody hacked or attacked the site in some nefarious way right on the dot, right? Or just moments before it was supposed to go live, right? And then everybody's trying to flood the site on top of that. Yeah. I'm the only one who seemed to have any kind of, I haven't seen any other kind of evidence of anything. Just this, right? Everybody else shows Cloudflare image.
I'm surprised they haven't figured out a standard system for things like this because we've gone through this so many times already. I mean, this is
probably does cost money, and GameStop, they're not investing in shit. But even these big name sites, Walmart, Best Buy to a lesser extent, because their site is better than like Target. We've seen their sites be ass back when the Xbox series consoles were coming out, right? Yeah. If you didn't know, then you learned that at that point how bad those websites really were at at handling stress when a lot of people was trying to be on it at the same time.
Yeah,
but eventually, and that's what I'm saying, I don't think that per se exactly happened. I think some kind of nefarious crap happened just before that moment.
Yeah.
Right? So the site was down for a while. Eventually, everybody just showing that Cloudflare image. Everybody's showing the same one. But eventually, I was seeing lots of posts that, eventually went through. A lot of people were to get their orders. But now there are too many pre-orders in Japan or what? Like Japan, like Nintendo was saying, they got higher demand than anticipated. But weren't these motherfuckers making this system for like well over a year now, or some shit like that? Like they were stocking it. Oh, it's not going to be concerned. Blah blah blah. Like where I was at, line.
Or it could be a fake shortage. Like they really have it, just to make it bring up the demand, like cause a real demand. You're gonna have the demand, man. It's Nintendo. Right.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like all this talk about, they were building systems for a long time. They've been had it done. They could have released it last year if they wanted. All this other stuff. Yeah, they have even more than ever before to sell. This is true. They technically did make more than any other system that's beaten the record, which is the PS4 and PS5. They're both tied for the record apparently at 4.5 million, and they're supposed to have between 6 and 8 on June 5th, right? But they were saying even for Japan's pre-order that they didn't have enough. Like there's not enough systems yet and still.
It's just nuts.
Wow. Yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy to hear. But yeah. I got my system. I got both Zeldas. I'll probably buy a couple of things on the eShop. Like I'll probably get Virtua Racer.
Yeah.
From Sega. There's a couple of things that they did that was exclusive to Switch, ain't on no other platform of note when it comes to little indie stuff like that I like. That I'll probably grab day one. But other than that, unless I scalp it, unless the urge hits to scalp it. I got a Switch. It wasn't a lot of effort, or I didn't have to do a lot of stuff. Like, it was pretty easy. Like, to be honest, I didn't even have to wait there all that time to get what I got in the end, because what happened was, well, most people were on the line. Like, I told you that woman who was there for her son.
Yeah. Right?
She was like maybe number 20 in line. So there was like, what was it, 24 in the picture set? So another 4 left for the bundles, and then 10 more for the ones who just want the regular ones. Yeah. I think maybe in the end the line was just about that long, or plus or minus 3
when
people.
It actually opened?
Yeah. When I walked out, because when I finally left, what happened? I skipped a part of the story. So eventually I asked the guy for everything I wanted. He had to go back and forth looking through stuff, blah, 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 to make sure my order was right. And then I paid, right?
Yeah.
Soon as I paid, their POS system crashed.
No, of course.
When my boy was trying to pay for his, they had to reboot their systems and everything. I'm done. I'm done already. I already paid. I had my sheet in my pocket. Yeah. I'd already finished looking over it. It had been so long. I'd already finished looking over it. Yeah. Stuffed it back in my pocket. I'm just waiting on them to figure it all out. Meanwhile, the guys, but there was a couple of guys online who were like in the back of the line, and my boy had noticed that they were trying to pop low key shit that I didn't notice, but he noticed. He was telling me later on, right? They were trying to pop. I don't know if it was on some jealousy shit. I don't know what the fuck, bro. Right? Yeah. But like that pissed off my friend, right? And he said some blanket threats, let's say, right? And it got them to chill. But when I was like, I paid for mine already. Yeah. I ain't worried about nothing. Like, I started being braggadocious, but I'm saying it for the sake of those guys in the back of the line, right?
Yeah.
Well, I said that my friend, had noticed them saying some bullshit or whatever. So I'm standing there waiting for 10 minutes for them to get their the POS system back up. So I don't know if GameStop had all kinds of issues, but immediately after they got the system back up, the first thing I made him do was verify that my pre-order was there. Because I'm like, bro, I am not walking out for you to tell me later on, I don't get a system because your piece of S, because your POS crashed, right? And I mean, a piece of POS in the other
system,
way. Yeah. Yeah, they always did. So yeah, man, I got it.
So was this your first wait in line launch event?
No, the last time I did one was PS3. Mm-hmm. Now, no, you mean pre-order event? That's the last pre-order event I've done since 2007, or was 2006?
Just in general. PS3. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's pre-order or
PS3. The PS3 weekend was the last time I did that kind of thing. Xbox One, One Way Dragons hooked me up with the pre-order, because remember, with the DRM thing, I didn't want one at first because of the whole DRM thing, so I missed out until the day after they announced they weren't doing the DRM, and then I changed my mind, and at that point it was already too late.
What's up, David?
And if it wasn't for One Way Dragons, he hooked me up. He had some pull with management and whatnot over at GameStop, so he was able to make that happen for me. And I got one. Yeah, Target and Best Buy were bugging and kept getting errors. Yeah, that's the same thing that happened at the beginning of this generation in 2020. Like, it was really bad. It was like that for PS5 and Xbox, and it's no different than it was 5 years ago back then. Yeah, David boy, it's still the same bullshit, and that's what people were talking about last night. You know what I'm saying? But got mine. Real happy. It wasn't that much effort. I just went to the store. The one guy who was online, well, not even online, he was in his car. Who knows how long he'd been there? I didn't ask.
I got to ask. Poor guy got to be number 6, but still, he was able to
he still got whatever he wanted. And he got the camera even, right?
Yeah.
So it was all good. But yeah, he should have been in the front of the line. I always did the true number 1 instead of me, right?
So did they have any accessories physically there they can hand out already, because it's useless without the system?
No. They had nothing to demonstrate. Nothing. Yeah, that was kind of dumb, but that's how they did it. So yeah, June 5th, might do a live stream. I don't know.
There you go.
Might do a live stream. I'll probably.
Well, you got to put that new camera to use, man. When you got the
desktop and you aren't gonna say anything about my audio.
Why? What'd I say?
Last time with the Steam Deck thing, I spent like 3 minutes in the beginning, looked like a good dummy because you said you couldn't hear the audio, but it was actually something on your end.
Oh yeah, it was my end. Yeah.
Yeah. So this time I'm not listening. I'm gonna already know my stuff is good.
I can't hear you. I was like, oh, sorry, my bad, me.
That was you. Yeah. But June 5th, I'll get it.
So I've had two. I have been to two. No, let's see. I always say 2.5, and I'll explain why the half. The first one was PS3, and that was when that launched, and we got wind that Sam's Club was gonna have some. So we started lining up at Sam's Club, and I think I was like number 3 or 4, so I wasn't in deep, right? And we were lining up like crazy. It was a huge line too. And we brought blankets. People brought like tents, like chairs, everything.
It was the whole thing. Yeah.
So it was a huge thing. And I wasn't into taking pictures. So I wish I was, so I can take pictures and kind of show them off from back then.
But back then, all we had was Nextels and flip phones. We didn't have smartphones.
That was like the next year. You got to have an actual camera. Yeah. And then, so we line up. Everybody's having a great time because everybody's gamers. Everybody's like, "Oh man, what are you gonna get? What are you gonna play?" And this and that. Do you really like PS3? I was like, "No, I really like Xbox." But I do play it because at the time it was Metal Gear. What was that? Patriots, I think it was called. It was on there.
Metal Gear Solid 4. Yeah.
It was, that's what I want to play. Yeah. I also want to play MLB The Show. So it's like that's what I'm a fan of. That's why I want to get a PS4 or a PS3 at the time.
That's why I got one. I got it for Metal Gear too. Yeah.
So we're there all night. Everybody having a good time. Everybody, talking, making friends, yada yada yada. And then people that actually work at Sam's started rolling in, right? And the people that were in charge and handling the whole pre-order thing were starting to roll in. And they kept telling us, they kept warning us, there's only one unit. That is it. And this wasn't pre-order. This is actually, you're going to take it home, right?
Yeah.
You were going to take it home. This is not a pre-order. This is physically getting it and going home. And they kept telling us there's only one. Well, of course, nobody's going to believe it because they don't. Our mentality is you're telling us there's only one because you want us to go
Get out of here.
You just want us to go away so all the regular customers can come in without any issues, right?
Yeah.
Which I understand, but at the same time, there's no way, there's no need to be a dick about it, right?
Yeah.
And so everybody's mentality like, nah.
They weren't lying. Yeah. But they weren't lying.
I ain't moving. There's some people that did leave, but the majority just like, I ain't moving. And so the store opened up the kid went to wherever the first person went to wherever they had to purchase the thing. And the guy that was handling the line that worked there, he said, that's it. That's the only one I've been telling you guys. And we continue to stay there to make sure like that's the only one. And yeah, sure enough, it was just the one.
Wow, what a cock block story.
Just the one, yeah. And then and they had to escort the kid out, the guy. I mean, he was an adult, but still they had to escort the guy back to his car to make sure he's safe because they didn't want anything to happen to him because he's the only one that had it. So but that was my like long term, try to get a console story. The other one was Super Smash Brothers when it came out. GameStop off of Westheimer had a big event. People were playing it because they had a demo up and they were having little tournaments, mini tournament. People and GameStop was giving away prizes, all sorts of just to make a thing out of it. It was fun, right? I didn't even end up buying the game. I just wanted to go and check it out and what's going on, right? It was just fun to be there. And that was it for that one. And then the last one was here in Dallas when Quantum Break was released. There was a Microsoft store at one of the big malls, one of the popular malls here. And I heard about it and I was like, well, I'm going. So I went early in the morning, got in line, and I wasn't even going to buy the game there. I already bought it online digitally, right? I'm just going for the event just to be there. And I was able to snag like a t-shirt. I still have it actually. An Xbox One t-shirt. Cool. I was able to snag a Quantum Break game box, but a larger size of it, like for displays. It's just kind of like those, it's like 2 feet long or something like that. And I got some other swag from Microsoft Store and everything. And it was fun. I was like, it was just an event to attend and have fun with, It's like, I didn't even get the game because I already ordered it. I just wanted to get some stuff there and, some free things. And back then we still had the Windows Phone. So I'm still like, hey man, I'm a Microsoft nerd. I got my Windows Phone. I love Xbox and yada, yada, yada. So, but yeah, it was fun. It was fun. Those were good memories. Those were fun events.
Those were the days.
Yeah. But to see that there was some sort of hype in your line just because there was. I mean, that's always fun to see. It's just too bad they don't make it a thing anymore, Yeah.
It's like, but this is the thing I was saying on the line. I was saying to my friend, I've said to other people, like, once you've done a midnight launch or whatever in a whole pre-order thing and blah, 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 once you've done it like once or twice, that's it. It's never going to be the same again.
No, it's never.
At that point, you don't care. Like GameStop, I don't fuck with GameStop. I don't need to. Yeah. I haven't had to fuck with GameStop in the longest time. The last time when my card was active was a couple years ago. I don't even know when I had to reactivate it, right?
Yeah.
To pre-order and whatnot, but it was just fine. And it paid for itself. It usually does. That's the thing with GameStop and the pre-order thing. It usually pays for itself.
Yeah.
At the moment when you purchase it, for whatever reason, it ends up paying for itself before you leave the store that day anyway. So, which is what happened for me. I'm going to use the points I got off of it to pay for the online service, at least for the first year, if not two, right? So that's fine. But like nowadays, like when I got my Xbox, it came straight in the mail from FedEx. I didn't have to go anywhere. I didn't have to get up at midnight or whatever and do all types of wild shit. That shit came to my house. I still have it posted up. I still the video posted up on my YouTube, I think. Right? I didn't even get to eat my breakfast. It came from Perkins. I didn't even get to eat that day. I remember I wasted my money on breakfast for no reason. But this time, I already got a plan with my boy June 4th at midnight to go there, grab our systems. I'm sure security will escort us out. And that's it. And we out. We out this bitch. We go home, enjoy our systems, and then I could do a live stream. I could do it that midnight. I mean, I could do it late that night. I probably should if I want clicks and views and Hey, so follow my YouTube channel, SIKSLAYER, SIKSLAYER, right here on YouTube. Yeah. So I can get 100 viewers.
So I'm over here looking at my timeline, my Twitter timeline. searching for Quantum Break and see if I posted any pictures or any videos or something.
Well, from your timeline.
From my timeline from back then. 2016. April 2016 when this is happening. One post says, on my way to Microsoft Store for the Quantum Break launch party. And then the next post was live on Periscope. Quantum Break event.
Periscope.
And I click on the link, it's gone.
Of course.
It's gone. I'm like, if we only knew.
Is dead.
The Periscope is dead, yeah.
And you didn't save the video or nothing
Didn't
yourself.
save the video, yeah. I
thought you learned that lesson already. I'm so disappointed in you. I thought you learned that lesson already to back up everything. You've been burnt. You learned the lesson. You've been anointed with the knowledge of pain. What happened?
Well, I mean, everybody thought, Periscope was going to be a thing and eventually didn't. So it's like, yeah.
They thought Vine was going to be a thing too, but somehow TikTok is the chosen one, right?
Yeah, TikTok's the chosen one, yeah.
That's God's chosen somehow. So there you go.
See, I'm looking at my pictures. It's like, do I have April? No, I don't have any pictures of that.
April.
2016.
April.
Yeah, don't have anything of that long. I thought I did. Maybe it's in my random folder. Let's see.
While you look for that, Realist, you notice, dude, that even though there's more games than ever, particularly in the past 2 months, right? There's always lots of games to play, no matter even the platform. If you're a PlayStation dude, there's games to play. If you're Nintendo dude, there's games to play. And we as Xbox guys know there's games to play. PC, likewise as well, right? And so the last couple episodes, we've been saying, there ain't really much to talk about Nintendo, and that's about it. But, meanwhile, games keep coming out.
Dude,
bangers even.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Bangers are coming out, and it's just we're kind of it ain't really much to talk about. It's
between last week and this week, what bangers, or let's just say the past 2 weeks, because I can't really think of any that of course there are games coming out every week, right? Hundreds,
right? But
what
in the past couple weeks, I would have to say more than 2, right? It's been more than 2, but
okay, go more than 2 because the reason why I say 2 weeks is because that's what we were there's not much to talk about, and we create our own conversation outside of the news because there's not much news. PlayStation
there isn't much news. Ghost
of Tsushima is releasing October 2nd. That's more proof to me that Grand Theft Auto is not coming out this year.
Well, they said it is, so I don't know. The publisher did. So.
They said it is. I doubt it. I mean, I just talked about CDPR said it was coming. Yes. That game was coming out, and they push it into the next year. And Sony is. I mean, when was the last time Sony released a game on the first time they announced the date?
This is big facts. This is big facts.
You know what I mean? So if it does come, Grand Theft Auto isn't coming. But I mean, there isn't much. Nintendo had their Treehouse, and for me, there wasn't much that I cared about. They had a couple cool things, and then Xbox keeps chugging along. But we're Xbox fans, so we know, but most people aren't really talking about it. I mean, Xbox comes out with it seems like something new, every other week. Yeah. Every week is something hitting Game Pass. There's some news, there's some rumor of a showcase. There's always something with Xbox.
A leak of a drop that was supposed to happen in secret, but it gets leaked out, but doesn't really affect the impact of the announcement anyway. You know what I'm saying? That's what happened to Oblivion. It got leaked, but the impact I feel was the same because it happened so close to the official announcement.
And you know what showed me that Microsoft can control leaks and that these leaks are controlled leaks? Nobody knew anything about the Series X.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like when they want to keep it a secret, they'll keep it a secret.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this earlier. When those screenshots came out, they did that on purpose. They know that there are sleuths that just peruse the internet looking for things that nobody knows. These things are controlled as far as I'm concerned. And
Bill does it on purpose in his office. Anytime he has an interview in his office, they already know to look on the shelf in the background. It's already a thing that everybody knows. He always did it on purpose. And once people realized it, they look for it, right? So yeah, I guess
Phil Spencer is different.
Right.
He's obviously showing something. It could be his T-shirt. I'm still waiting on a Hexen update. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's things like that. Like, yeah, he's doing it on purpose, but like when they put things on websites for somebody to go find them and look at these screenshots. Yeah, I mean, when you got people like Mag and other people saying, "Oh, Oblivion's coming," they've been saying Oblivion was coming for a while. Like we knew it was coming.
Yeah. Oh, you heard it here first, though.
Mm-hmm.
Say it again.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. And then, well, Mag, when you ask him, he'll have to say that he wasn't first. You know what I mean? It's like when you hear more than once, then okay, believe it. You know what I mean? If this guy's telling him and my guy's telling me, yeah, that's true. You know, but there's always something to talk about. It's just like normally when we go off on tangents, Tech will look at the clock and say it's time to go.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so but there are a bunch of games. I'm still trying to think of a game that came out that like really is ringing bells out here. You know, because we got Clair Obscur, which is at 30. You know, it's not. You know, we want it to be a big game, but it's not big.
Not big, but it is doing well. We got Fatal Fury.
Yeah. Oh, Fatal Fury. You know, and the fighting genre is niche in itself. I'm just gonna stick to my what's the name of that game? Guilty Gear when I play fighting games, because it's like after watching like professionals, I realized
heard in a while.
I realized that I'm trash. So
you just had that revelation, life-changing revelation.
Well, as a child, you know, a young man, you know, I thought that I was good because I could beat everybody around me. But when I watch people on the internet and the way that they work the jab, like back in the day, man, you didn't really play with the jab and mid too much. You only use the jab to kind of set up to do cheese
combos or cheese. That's how you fought.
well, no, everybody. Like it was like basically you're gonna work the jab to work into a throw. We're gonna work the low sweep, low kick. What was it called? Was it weak? And I know fierce and high
forward,
kick.
light,
short,
high.
forward.
I'm talking about Street Fighter. So they had jab, medium, and fierce.
Yeah,
and roundhouse.
Yeah.
So like you just work the short to do like a roundhouse, work into a toss or something. Like people weren't really working combos the way I'm seeing them working now. But I'm watching professionals, and that was probably the way that they always intended for the games to be played. What was the name of it? What's the name of that game? With the lion, Tekken. You know what I mean? It's like the way that we fought back then is not what I'm watching, right? Yeah, his name's King. That's his name.
Oh, okay, Tiger. Yeah, okay.
Is it Tiger? Okay,
Tiger. Yeah, Tiger Mask. That's a play on Tiger Mask.
I never liked Tekken.
That was never liked Tekken. Mm-hmm. Wow.
I like Tekken because I like Street Fighter 1. I liked Virtual Fighter. I liked Soul Calibur. That was the first game I bought on Dreamcast.
Was my go-to. If I wasn't playing Street Fighter, and if I wasn't playing Killer Instinct, then what's it? Soul Calibur was my game. Yeah, I always prefer that one. Yeah.
You never played Soul Edge on PlayStation 1? Or Soul Blade as it was known here in America?
No, I don't think so. No.
That's the prequel to that. That was a PS1 game.
No.
Yeah.
But Calibur was always fun because you got that goofy one with the knives, and he just kind of goes all over the place.
Oh yeah, the guy who can't see or hear either.
Yeah, he's all flexible, but he's like
he looks like a gimp. You know what I'm saying from Pulp Fiction.
Yeah,
he looks like the gimp.
Yeah.
Bro, that was this game at the arcade. That was the game at the arcade. I still can't remember the name of the game.
And
there was a clown, and there was a clown. He was like, pick a card, right? And I found that game on
Clay Fighter?
No. I know Clay Fighter, but they had a clown, and the clown was like, pick a card. And when I saw this game on Ant virtual whatever stream.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, the streaming thing. Yeah.
I'm gonna find that game, bro, because like that game was like it's so trash, but we had so much fun with it back in the day. Because
I can't get this dude to play Ninja Baseball Batman. I'm telling you, it's right up his alley. I beat him up right up his alley with all the baseball shit.
It's called Ninja Baseball Batman.
Yeah, Ninja Baseball Batman. Yeah, it's a name.
Batman.
Yeah.
What console did it come out on?
It's an arcade game from IRM. It's a beat 'em up game. So very family friendly. You know what I'm saying?
Did you buy it on Steam?
Is it anywhere to play officially? I think. Well, if it first came to prominence on MAME because they found the arcade machine, but then Angry Video Game Nerd did a video about it, right? Randomly one day. This is the craziest arcade game I've ever seen, Bob. Ninja Baseball Batman. Yeah. He did a video about it. So I don't know. Wait, hold on.
I'll find it.
Because I know they were trying to release it.
I'll get a ROM if I have to.
Yeah, so you'll probably have to get a ROM. Is what I'm saying. But I'm saying this guy here, Mr. Baseball. You know what I'm saying? All the time when we get into Texas, it's often about baseball. He's very knowledgeable, big fan of baseball. He's traveled to other stadiums.
Baseball.
Just to see, like, just to watch games in other stadiums. So, like, and he's never played Ninja Baseball Batman. I feel like this is a sin that must be expunged from his soul, and we must save our brother.
Baseball.
But I don't see it on any other platforms to get it. But I thought they were trying to release it on other things, though. There's a Kickstarter in 2022. What happened with that? Let me see.
Same thing that happened to Periscope.
No, that's for the comic. Okay, that was for the comic. The Periscope.
Bring Periscope back.
Oh, yeah.
So I can get that video back.
Ninja baseball Batman.
Baseball.
Yeah. Baseball.
Yeah. BEI baseball.
BEI baseball.
But anyway, but so Sick. When you asked that question, right, and you were bringing up, the games releasing, like, what did you have in mind?
Because it's just like I'm noticing that there's so much to play. It almost feels like people's minds are overloaded, so they don't even remember like the details. They're just like, there's lots of games, and like they remember the biggest news and then nothing else.
For real. No, it is. I mean,
you know what I'm saying? Not that there's not stuff we could have talked about, but was it worthy talking about? No. But meanwhile, they were releases all the time.
Back to back. Like, it's crazy that they're releasing all these, which, look, this is what we were asking for, right? And this is what Microsoft was saying.
Yes.
Like, they're gonna start putting out games, once a quarter? And now it's like, it feels more than that.
Once every month.
Once one AAA game per quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
like, because that's why they wanted the AA studios, right? That's why you have your compulsions.
But I mean, then,
so they can put out games.
Does
like
it have to be a trip? I mean, I don't.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, because like I said, I'm playing it.
When I look at Expedition, if I look at Val, if I look at Adamfall, or any of these that just
AA,
they all do, but I don't see them as AA. I don't, like, you know what? That's a AA game.
See, like back in the beginning of the generation, I said we're gotta be careful because Unreal and some of these engines are gonna blur the lines between AAA and AA.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You're gonna see games that look AAA, but they're not. And when you play them, see, I learned it when I played was it Evil West?
Mm-hmm.
Like, everything about that game from the videos and everything said AAA. But when you played it, you'll notice some of the things that they shortcut on that made it a AA game. Should have been a $50 game instead of $60 game, but I like vampires.
Yeah.
I bought that day one, and I bought it for somebody who was like on Twitter, "Oh, I really wish I had enough money. I just moved, so I bought it for him."
I just don't look at games and then, all right, I categorize that as a AA because of the price point and because of the length of the game. No, I just play it. And then
good game is good game. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. It could be basic $5 game, a free game, or $100 game. It just has to be good game.
It just got to be a good game, and that's it. What does it matter if it's a AAA or a AA or a single or whatever? As long as it's a good, fun game and everybody and people are enjoying it, then what does it matter? It's like, so we're getting all these AA games, okay, every month, multiple ones a month. Okay, so what if they're AA? Are they fun? Yeah, okay, and that's what matters. It doesn't matter if it's 1, 2.
Let's be honest. Nintendo games are going to be AA for the most part, right? But the fact is that they've been building what they are into what they are today. The Nintendo official seal of approval, the quality. Yes, their games won't have jank, but they're also not pushing any boundaries either. And when they start pushing boundaries, then you start to get games like Tears of the Kingdom and Hyrule Warriors where they look janky just like everybody else's games.
Mm-hmm.
But like they're not pushing AAA budgets, but they're selling their games for AAA prices.
And prices. Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, but yeah, like there's so many games, and the problem is, like, I'm in favor of Sean Layton's idea of making shorter video games. I'm in favor of episodic games, especially if you have a subscription service. But I believe that Microsoft's more concerned about optics than anything else, right? Because they got to change the narrative about. See, Game Pass is new, and Xbox has more than its fair share of haters. So people have every narrative in the book to come up with it. Oh, this game is made for Game Pass. What?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what you call it. Like he was saying earlier, Game Pass fodder. That's what he was talking about.
But what about every other game that just happened to drop mid? You know what I mean? And there was no Game Pass. You know, it's just that now that some of these games are going into Game Pass. Oh, this game's made for Game Pass. Redfall made for Game Pass. Okay, but they started making that game before Microsoft bought them. So what would have been beforehand? So now that Microsoft's kind of like get into a position where they're starting to be able to write some rules. They're getting ready to start to be able to dictate some terms, because I don't like him. I never cared about him. That was Sleepless Boy, Mikey Barra.
Yeah,
but he's turning into a total cornball clown.
Oh, Fratanga got in his ass. I think today's video.
Look, good for Fratanga. Good for Fratanga. But like this guy, Mikey Barra, has been saying some of the dumbest things.
Shit for a minute. Yeah,
and so. When you have people say things like, "Oh, this is made for a subscription," right? And when does this is what he said? When does last place dictate terms, right? The Microsoft's basically owning this, right? We are not in last place. We are the leaders of the industry, whether you recognize it or not. And the console is not what dictates the leader, right? And so everything that Phil has said has come to pass, right? Everything that Microsoft, even since Matrix. But the whole DRM thing that Microsoft was castigated and penalized for being like what is this? Nintendo's being the first to bring $80 games, right? So they're gonna take the bullets, but people are gonna remember, oh my God, my kid loves that game, $80, $90, right? Mm-hmm. But Microsoft, PlayStation, mostly are adult consoles. So when they came out with the DRM, when they came out with the Always Online, pretty much what everybody's doing right now. And look at Nintendo, which anybody could have called it, but I called it. Nintendo is going to fall in line with the rest of them with this whole DRM thing, because they want control of their media. The only thing that helps Nintendo right now is that their games don't have a lot of their games don't get resold, and their games have a lot of replay value, right? So nobody's really trading in Nintendo games. Like a used Nintendo game was still $55 at GameStop.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So like now they're selling their games for $80. People are going to be looking to recoup their money. Okay, so let us get on board with this DRM thing. You see what I'm saying? But everything that Phil has been saying has been coming to pass. That he's been saying for years that PlayStation and Nintendo are not their competition. They already got one of their real competition, which was Google, right? And they didn't purposely go at Google. Google just said, we don't want to spend $7 billion while they have more cash than everybody else in the world.
And bowed out.
You know what I mean? And so everything that Phil has come out to say, where we don't think that continually raising prices on games is the answer. That I've been saying this before. Now they're validating what I'm saying, that live service games are killing the industry. Yep. You know what I mean? Everything that they've been saying is the truth. So when Mikey Barra says, when does the last place dictate terms? They're not dictating the terms, really. They're just forecasting based off the data that they have. You know what I mean? And consoles are not the future. Consoles do need to be in more places. I mean, games do need to be in more places. Streaming. However you can get the media out to people, that's how you need to do it. What were we about to ask? Really,
wasn't this the same dude like they had gotten rid of, and then when they purchased ZeniMax,
Blizzard,
and then they got rid of him again? Like we already know these dudes.
I didn't know they got rid of him the first time, right?
The first time
I thought they sent him to Activision as a mole.
Yeah, well, you know how that goes, bro. That's always narrative.
And then when they bought him, I said, "Oh, I told y'all he was a mole."
Oh yeah, but then they got rid of him again, and that was the thing. It's like when they talk about
that killed my forecast. He was a mole. So
right. But like it's just like what they say with dude from PlayStation, Jim Ryan, right? Like they say, oh, yeah, Nobody believes that except a pony.
Yeah.
Right. And then what was it? A week or two later, when he came all drunk looking in that white tee, right? Because he had to sign some paperwork that when he could do, right? Yeah, bro. Listen. He could have just been having a damn good time.
Hey, man, nothing wrong with having a good time, man. With the money,
but he didn't look like he was having a. Listen. Did he look like he was having a good time, bro? He looked like he was having a bender. Some benders are good times.
Hey, we've all been there.
Some benders are bad times.
We've all been there.
I'm 60-40 leading towards that was a bad time, but that's just me. That's just me. It's not a bias as an Xbox fan. That's just from what I see, right?
Yeah.
So, and with all this other stuff, it just, and then come to find all these other details about the behind the scenes at Sony, it just seems to me him and Mike Ybarra were both eliminated from their positions, and Ybarra, it happened to him twice. That's what I think.
But if you look at him, he's just turning into Grums.
Yeah, like because he's saying opposite of everything else that Microsoft has been saying, so he never seemed to be the fit. Is my point overall. Well,
that too. But then when you look at like he's running the same engagement plays. Oblivion will never compare to FromSoft or what's the name again? Elden Ring. Knowing that Elden Ring probably has the biggest single game, most rabid fan base. So basically, you're gonna have Elder Scrolls guys going against the most goofy fan base, right? Mm-hmm. And it didn't even get the engagement that I thought he was looking for. But everything he says just seems pretty dumb, you know. And he's still about the console war, right? But you need the dichotomy to create, you know, I guess the left-right paradigm. You need East versus West. You need the fight. So you have to put something against one another. But what Phil Spencer wants is just for the games to be the games, right? Not where you can play the games, because he would prefer. I know Satya would prefer the games be played everywhere, and everybody has access to the same games. Because I said this before, Microsoft is no longer a console company. They're no longer looking to push the console. They have always been a software company. Bill Gates said console is king. That's why they're not worried about putting games on PlayStation or Nintendo. They feel like they need more competition. This is what Satya said. If this is about competition, let us compete. And it wasn't the competition that the CMA thought that he was talking about. They thought it was our console competition. We all did. But it's not. Yeah. What better competition could there be than you drop your freaking Ghost of Yotei and I put Starfield on, you know, a week later. You see what I'm saying? That's competition. You know what I mean? And the reason why Nintendo is what it is because Nintendo hasn't had that competition. And I believe that they're taking a wrong step. They're taking a huge step in the wrong direction. But like I said before, they're beholden to the same rules that every other public company is, and that's growth. Right? So either they're going to have to start taxing their customers, or they're going to have to increase their the range. What is the word that I'm looking for? That it doesn't matter. They're going to have to reach more people somehow. Right? And so they're not gonna put their exclusives on other hardware yet. So what they're gonna do, they're gonna tax the people that they do have until they say uncle. You know, but PlayStation has to go to PC. Xbox has to go to PC. Xbox is not afraid. Microsoft, Satya especially, is not afraid of competition. If you know that you have to compete, you're gonna make a better product. Which is why Pokemon hasn't done anything for years.
Yeah.
There's no competition. Right, there's nothing pushing Pokemon to be better, especially when people go out there and buy 20 million units every time. So Microsoft is not looking at the gaming space the way that us console warriors would. They're looking at it like we need to sell software. Software is where the money is. And eventually they will start to push and chip into that 7 and it's at 30%. Not just from Steam, everybody. Because they are creators. This is why Epic is spearheading it, well, Microsoft is their wingman, because they are creator companies. The companies that aren't creating are looking to hold on to that 30% platform tax or royalty, whatever you want to call it, right? That they're wanting to hold on to. You look at Microsoft, man, we got all these companies. Look at Tencent. They got the biggest games every year. They have the biggest live service games, and if they don't have it, they'll buy it. Microsoft's buying these publishers. So they're looking at it, look, we're going to start to chip into the cut that we get, right? And what is that going to do? I told you that they're pushing PlayStation into becoming the next Steam. all Steam, all PlayStation is going to be is a storefront with a console, because there's going to be too much risk involved with them releasing their games, and they've already proven that they don't like competing. They don't like going head up with anything. That's why they don't have any more Japan Studio to create any more Legend of Dragoons, which is why they don't have any more SOCOMs and Resistances, because they'd rather not compete with COD. That's why.
The other thing too, I think the console doesn't mean it's just a box that has the hardware enough to play the games. Look at what the current Xbox looks like, a refrigerator. Last generation of VCR, right? Like Xbox consoles haven't looked appealing to a lot of people. To me, I liked the VCR style because it fit in the shelf, blah, 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 with all my other AV gear, and it looked better with the all black and all that. To me, it matched better, right? Because it just needs to be a box with the disc drive still, because especially then we still at least needed that. We don't need it now, right? Mm-hmm. But like just a box that the controllers sync to and has the hardware muscle to run all the processing. It doesn't really matter what it looks like. Look at the PlayStation 5. It looks like ass. Like it looks more console S now. Like the Pro looks a little better, I feel. But overall, the PlayStation, the consoles look crappy. They're just a box. So, some people still want the box. Fine. Okay, fine. But the box really isn't as important other than being able to access the game. The only way the box matters to people if they have a box is the speeds and feeds, the capability of what the box can do. Because in terms of gimmicks, there's nothing they could bring to the box that's a gimmick. How long was I asking what's going to be the gimmick with the Switch 2 just to find out that the overall nothing, just spec bump. That's all they're really going for.
Well, you got a mouse.
Right, but that was just the gimmick that they took from Lenovo that wasn't too successful there, and already Digital Foundry is kind of shitting on it like it don't feel too good to them, right? But because they got to use it at some event, right?
It's not an FPS mouse. It's a Civilization mouse. You know what I mean? Like who wants to play shooters like that?
But that's what they show off all the time. You're right. It is more for Civilization, but that's not what they show. They keep showing Metroid, right? Which of course that's their game. They're gonna do that, right?
Well, they're gonna make use of it,
right? But overall, my point being, the ingenuity in terms of the gimmick that a new box will provide isn't even really a concern for anybody but Nintendo. Now it's just like a box. What speeds and feeds? What how much ray tracing, how much RAM, how much can it process and do and give us end result resolution and frame rate. That's all we really care about for the box. Like the box doesn't need to do any more than that. It doesn't even have to look appealing on the rack other than look at the Series X. It just looks like a mini fucking fridge, right? It doesn't look
don't be clowning the S.
I like it. And the S actually looks like a little speaker, right? But it looks like basically it's just a box.
Oh, and I got the toaster too.
But that's the problem when it comes to design, right?
Yeah.
You can't be too creative when your name is Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the things that maybe they didn't think 25 years through. You know what I mean? We can only make consoles that look like a box. Whereas a PlayStation can be creative. They could come out with a space router. You know what I mean? They can come out with a triple stack box. You know what I mean? Like they can come out with things that look like anything.
What's up, Mystic?
So like, yeah, what up, Mystic? Like, so that's the problem. They're beholden to the name box. So everything's gonna come out looking like some type of appliance.
Right. Because they're just trying to appeal to other people who don't know.
Because you remember when they had those mock-ups, right? And one of them was a cylinder. I was like, that's fake.
Right.
because you can't have a box that's a cylinder.
I remember that.
Right. Yeah, I remember you saying that. Yeah.
Yeah. So like that's one thing they didn't think all the way through. But the fact of the matter is, console isn't growing, and Microsoft doesn't want to fight over 250 million when there are billions out there. You see, that's why he says things like they're not our competition. Right, 250 million, on average. I did the math before. Everybody was talking about it, and legal started talking about it. This is something that I noticed. This is something that I saw back when my wife bought me a what is that thing? A Wii U. And I was like, man, why can't it sell? Like then I go look at Xbox and PlayStation, and they were at 80 million. The
360
generation before that.
Yeah.
Well, and then you had the Wii that was at 100. You know what I mean? Nothing's they're not hitting 300. And the only reason why the Switch did so well last generation is because, listen, we've gone through 5 Switches. $300, yeah, no problem. I'll buy you another one. $500, I don't know about that, baby.
Right.
I mean, $450, I don't know about that, baby. $199, I don't know. You know, that's fine. Yeah, I'll get you another one, no problem. You know what I mean? Get a good report card. $500, give me 3 good report cards. You know what I mean? Better yet, have you considered an Xbox or a PlayStation? You know what I mean? Like something that you can't walk around and break.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like that's what I'm looking at. Like, is it really growing? Gaming has grown outside of consoles exponentially, right? You've got way more people on PC than ever before. You got people that move from PC to tablet that are playing games. This is why Nintendo is slowly working their way towards mobile. If you look at Xbox, I mean, I don't know if you guys are interested, but like AOE on my tablet is great.
Age of Empires?
It's different.
Oh.
But it's great. You know what I mean? Like a lot of these experiences, and then eventually you'll start to see game prices on PC. One of the big things with mobile games is that they will be cheaper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the tower defense games that I buy on Xbox because I want to support them, I paid $5, $3, $1.99 for them on mobile. But Xbox isn't looking to compete in the console space. And, we got to start to understand and recognize that they're going to compete to an extent. But they're competing for no more than a 260 million pot when you got billions, little billions on mobile and PC. You know what I mean? Their biggest unit is probably King. You know what I mean? And they pretty much make one game with 5 variations. But that's how they're viewing competition. They're gonna go and they're gonna go dominate PlayStation. PlayStation was already being dominated. Xbox is already being dominated. So look at what third party was doing on Xbox and PlayStation. And now you look at Xbox, and you know what? Why are we letting EA and 2K have all the fun when we got Activision, Bethesda, not Coalition, but what's the game, the one who Compulsion? Like those games are going to go over there because they're not going to sell enough units to justify keeping them on the Xbox alone. Hellblade will be on PlayStation. It probably, maybe, hopefully it does well because that's a PlayStation style game, a little slow movie game. But even PlayStation's games aren't moving crazy units. That's why they hype up the overall unit sales. How long does it take them to get to 20 million? How many bundles did it take for them to get to 15 million on God of War? Like I have no faith in any of their releases this year because every last one of them was bundled that went over 10 million.
Yep. Mystic says, get it in store at GameStop this morning. I know.
Welcome to the crew, homie. Because I did that as well. Yeah.
That's cool. If I'd have known they'd had them, because like my little place, because the first and only time that I went outside for a console was the series, and that was just because I went to Starbucks and I just happened to see people standing outside at 6 in the morning. They were sitting outside, and there was only 4 people out there. And I said, "Y'all waiting for the Xbox?" They're like, "Yeah, but I'm taking the X, I'm taking the X, and I'm taking the X." And so there are only Series S's left, and everybody who came, they just left. I said, "Shoot, man, I'll take an S." Called my wife up, told her come get the coffee, and I sat in line and took an S and gave it to my son.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then now the PlayStation, I sent people up there to buy it, gave them $100. Hey, go get in line. Go get it.
You just stumbled in like, "What's up, guys?" Like, yeah, the S is left. All right, I'll stand in line.
Well, because they had a sign in the window. We have 10 consoles, 4 Series X,
like my situation,
and 6 Series S's. And so the first 4 dudes, like I saw people say, "Y'all got the Xbox? We only have the Series S." Oh, just turn around left. And then one dude, he was like, yeah, he said he's buying the last X. He was like, "Man, let me buy it from me." He said, "What you want to give me?" Don't worry about it, man. He said, "Nah, you want it?" He was like, "Yeah," but he was thinking, "I don't want to pay extra."
Yeah,
he didn't have to pay extra, right? Yeah. He said it and then realized the impact of his words when you asked him, "What you gonna give me for it?" Then he realized, "Oh, I gotta pay extra both." Yeah,
so get out of here.
I'm not willing.
Trying to get it at face value. Get out of here.
But no, like that's why I don't like Mike Ibarra, bro. Because
agreed.
Like Xbox,
Agreed.
when Phil Spencer comes out and says, like, I like people who are keeping it real. Like when people start talking about how Jim Ryan was bad for PlayStation, or Jim Ryan was on the right track until he tried to counter what Xbox was doing. And then when he did counter, because he was thinking traditional exclusivity, we can make Destiny exclusive, and Destiny and a bunch was like, hell no, fool. You know what I mean? But he was like, cool, all right, we'll take you anyway, because you also have a Destiny movie that you're trying to make, and I can sell this to the board because there are movie opportunities and gaming opportunities. That's when he messed up, when he went after Bungie.
Mm-hmm.
What he was doing right. Maybe he chose the wrong IP for some of them, but he understood what Totoki had to come out and say later, is we don't have enough strong IP, right? And they don't, right? If you look at The Last of Us is a great damn TV show. And when I played The Last of Us, I said, man, this would have been so much better to watch. Like, that is my show right now, The Last of Us. Like,
what I'm hearing, the season 1 was 1 for 1 what was in the game. So almost down to the dialogue. And then I'm only hearing season 2. They finally
season one was pretty much verbatim, right? But season 2, they already laid the groundwork. We don't need to kill Joel fast. We don't need to bring Abby in fast. Like, we can tell the story differently. She doesn't need to be muscular, because the reason why she was muscular is because of a different gameplay style. You know what I mean? And that was what they said. You know,
that's what they said. Different game. Yeah, because it wasn't trans.
But Jim Ryan was looking at what third party terrorized his platform, suffocating his first party games.
Yeah.
Right? That's what he was looking at, and that's what he was trying to help get rid of. What Xbox is like, you know what? They're here. We're not going to get rid of them, because that's what the gamers want. The gamers are speaking. The gamers want to play Fortnite. We have 2 games that the gamers want to play. We'll live with that. And if we can create another one to infiltrate that space, we will. But Jim Ryan had the right idea, because third party is not giving his first party room to breathe. They can create as big of an event as they want to. The games are costing $250 million. How much are you going to spend on marketing?
Yeah,
they're not going to spend a huge amount on marketing. They can create a store page, but that doesn't make the casual, which is theirs is probably the most casual box.
Yes,
right. With PlayStation, with Nintendo being the second most casual box, because Nintendo first party is casual games, and those games dominate. But people buy PlayStation not because of what PlayStation can do, because it has the most features, or the DualSense. They bought it to play Fortnite and Call of Duty and Rockstar, Grand Theft Auto. You know what I mean? He saw what these games were doing, and he saw that there was really nothing else that he could do. Whereas Microsoft was like, we could buy these bitches.
Yes.
and so that's what they were doing. And that's why I said earlier, Nintendo is probably taking a big misstep by allowing them to be on their platform, by creating hardware that's strong enough to run a Fortnite, strong enough to run an Infinity Nikki. You understand? Like, these games, bro, like, you might laugh, but Infinity Nikki is going crazy.
Yeah, that's why I laugh. I laugh because it is going crazy. I know exactly the reference you're making by that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
good mention. Yeah.
So, like, this is what they're inviting onto their platform when Mario, Pokemon. Now, they might not allow Pal World, but if they did allow Pal World, Pokemon is dead.
Yes.
I don't care what a Harmon Smith has to say, bro. Nintendo needs to do better. They need to do better.
And, on that point, let me add, like, it's like from before the Wii was announced, when we only knew it as the Revolution, we didn't know what the gimmick was, being the motion controls. When we didn't know anything about that, people forget the outlook of Nintendo at that point, right? People were debating, am I going to get the next Xbox or the PlayStation? And then eventually I'll get whatever Nintendo does for Nintendo games. And that's always what people have said about Nintendo games, if they have third-party support or not. It depends on which generation we're talking about, right? Because sometimes they get a lot, sometimes they get some, or whatever in between, right? But that was always the same.
When have they had strong third-party support outside of NES and SNES?
That's it. That's why I say it depends on what they're talking about. But they'll have different middling levels of it, right? They had pretty good with the Wii up until they realized they're competing against Nintendo, and they all realized they would have made more money on Xbox and PlayStation, like Ubisoft did. Ubisoft literally said so. They said they spent a lot of time and effort on the Wii early on that should have went to the 360 and PS3, and then eventually at some point they refocused their efforts on those platforms, right?
But that's going to happen again.
Right. So, like, and what you're saying, what you just said about all this other stuff is so true because this is what Nintendo see. This is how people see Nintendo overall. They may mess with third-party stuff on the platform, but if the platform didn't have that first party, it wouldn't exist. It wouldn't need to exist because the third party is everywhere. That's third-party shit, right? You're only mainly there for Nintendo stuff. I'm only there for Nintendo stuff. I'm not buying anything that's on other platforms. Yeah. That's on Steam.
Why would you?
Ever on a PC. Right. Yeah. Why would I ever do that? If it was my only system, then it's my only choice. Right. But if I have a choice, that's never a choice I'm gonna make. Ever.
Think about it, Sick. If people do take the Cyberpunk, and we're not talking about people like us who bought a Switch.
Right. Like
we're talking about we're talking about the people who are in Guangdong or wherever. In Osaka, right? And they're riding their trains, the bullets, and they were playing Room Factory before, right?
Yes.
And then they start to get a hold of these Western games that are pushing the envelope. That's something that Nintendo hasn't had to really reckon with. You know what I mean? And let's just say they start to play games like Doom. But they haven't. People don't go to PlayStation to buy third-party games, which is why every generation, right? They have an up generation, a down generation, an up generation, a down generation. And on the down generation, everybody abandons them. And then, on the down generation, everybody abandons them. On the up generation, everybody gets on in the middle, right? And then they want to
ride the gravy train.
And then once they ride them to the top, they say, okay, we're going to support you on this next generation. And then the next generation is a down generation, and then they abandon them again.
The flip flop.
Because this is the thing. Nobody is going to Nobody's going to Nintendo for third-party games. But if they do, that's going to pose a problem for Nintendo. And I thought Nintendo, they might have learned this, but again, they're beholden by the same rules as everybody else, and they have to grow. They're not going to move their first-party games, but they need to create new revenue streams in other ways. So they got to make hardware strong enough to run third-party games. They got to allow more competition, which will equate to more money. But will it hurt their software sales? Are they still going to sell?
And you give the best example. You give the best example because you say like, if there's a lot of these third parties, if they were on the platform, would kill their first party and thus kills the appeal of the platform. That's why I said what I said. Most people rock Nintendo systems primarily for the first party efforts. That's what you got it for. Some people only rock with that and nothing else, right? And they act like, oh, those games are so legendary and blah, blah, blah. And then once they see the $80 price point for Mario Kart, and then they wake up and they stop saying all that bullshit, right? But like, we've been calling out in spaces all along. We always were like, yeah, we give Nintendo all this clout and fame, but we let them get away with bullshit that we don't let Xbox, PlayStation, or PC get away with, right? Yeah. But now that finally started to change, right? Yeah. And it's like, yo, like if the stuff that brings you to the party don't keeps you at the party, you dipping off with another girl. You know what I'm saying? And that could be what happens to Nintendo eventually. I'm not saying it's about to happen now, right? I'm not saying that at all. I don't think that's happening at all.
So girl.
But people generally rock with Nintendo for their shit, and that's why I said about the Wii. Before we knew about the Wii all we knew was there was Codename Revolution, right? We didn't even know about the details about the 360 and PS3 yet. That was the outlook from you can go look it up on wherever on the internet. You can go look at NeoGAF. Yeah, go back to NeoGAF. Look around 2004. See what people were saying, right? Like. Or 2005 even, like just before they announced the Wii and what it really was, right? And what it was capable of. Like, this was what the gamers were saying. I never forgot that. Like, and even now, if these third-party games, like you give the example of Power, that would kill Pokemon. As much as people are nuts for Pokemon.
I thought about it. It would hurt it.
but that's what I mean by kill, because to kill it, as long as it's not Pokemon, the big title that remains unopposed. Yeah. Now it's opposed, right? It's not going to kill a franchise, but it will kill the concept of it's the franchise to get in the genre unopposed, right? Yeah. That will forever kill that narrative. And so it is what it is when you look at that. Like, and that's and there's a lot of other examples of games like that if they were on Nintendo, that would kill that. That would kill that big time.
The problem with Power World is Power World needed a Pikachu. Mm-hmm. Power World needed an Ash. You know what I'm saying? Like Power World, most of their monsters look like Pokemon monsters, and the main character is the main character is you.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, some people like Charizard, but it needed a story.
Yes.
It really doesn't have a story. You create your own story. And that's what's going to separate the two, because people, basically Pokemon. I mean, like people, I got a Pikachu shirt. You know what I mean? Like, this is what it is. But competition would make them do better.
Yes.
You know, and for whatever reason,
always does.
Whatever reason, like why is Astrobot like we make fun of PlayStation, but Astrobot did so much more than a Mario game.
Yeah, it's not a crap game at all.
You know what I mean? But like,
they don't fuck with that kind of shit. They really don't.
Well, nobody came to PlayStation for Astrobot, and that's the problem.
Right. Yep.
See, the thing about Xbox is they're not selling enough consoles, right? You know, because when you look at growth, right? PlayStation has never hit 150 again, 160 now, right? Whatever they want to say now, right? They've never hit 160. Now Nintendo has hit 150 again, right?
Yeah.
Xbox,
did 80
I still challenge that the only reason why they sold that many units is because PlayStation was too much. It was too expensive for people, and they chose Xbox because those people went back to PlayStation.
And it was out a year early too.
Yeah, when you look at Xbox, they sold 20 million Xbox OGs, right? And then they sold 80 of the 360s, but then they went back to 50, 60, whatever it is. I heard as low as 40, but I don't think they sold 40. I think it was between 50 and 60. You know, they're growing. Xbox is growing. And if Xbox can hit 50, 60, then that's cool. That's why, and it's not because I'm an Xbox fan. I look at Xbox 360 as an anomaly, bro, because there was so many contributing factors for them to hit 80. Like, they didn't hit 80 on their own. And they basically assured that they would hit 80 again when they decided when they decided that they were going to lead the charge on DRM. What were you about to say?
Well, the success wasn't entirely Microsoft, but you couldn't say they didn't have a part to play, because they came into the 360 generation with plans, motivation, you know what I'm saying? Like a bigger picture and people in charge who want to see that vision through, right?
They do every generation though.
No, but particularly the 360 generation, right? But indeed, you are right that there were other factors beyond their control that led to the success. It wasn't entirely Microsoft, because they made mistakes too, and they still were pretty successful, right? But I gotta say, early on, they were making the right moves and saying and thinking the right things, and other things did fit into play outside of their influence. So yeah, it wasn't just them.
When you look at that generation, right? If PlayStation sold 160, basically Xbox and PlayStation split that during the 360 and PS3, right? Yeah. Nintendo during the PS2 gen, that was GameCube, right? So if you're looking at 160 plus 40, that's 200. You know, if you want to count Dreamcast, cool, right? And then you look at the next generation, they sold 260 collectively, right? It was 160 between Xbox and PlayStation and 100 with the Wii. And then this generation, which you have to add basically two different consoles, because the Switch, although it's just now ending, it dropped in the middle of last generation.
Yes,
so you look at PlayStation 114, 115, whatever. So Xbox 150, that's 170, and then you add the Switch in. Then that looks like growth. I think there's a lot of foo-foo going on with the with that generation.
It's not growth because the whole industry treats it like it's not growth. Whenever the big guys talk, they always talk about the cap size of the industry, right? And they always talk, the numbers they talk is as if, no, it didn't grow. So I agree with you.
Yeah, so, it's interesting to talk about, but I agree with Microsoft deciding to not compete in the kiddie pool anymore. Because we can call it a kiddie pool, and they say, oh, this is because you're an Xbox. We're talking about a $3 trillion company playing the same game as companies 30 to 40 times smaller than them.
Yeah.
And that makes no sense when they're much bigger than that.
The
and they're not a hardware, they're not a hardware company.
No.
Right? They can
not per se.
You look at it, they can get, they're not. They have a service.
No, they're not. They're primarily, but they do have some good hardware shots, but that's not what they're known for. They got their main thing.
Surface T. Now they should have been as forward thinking as Apple was.
Yeah.
Right. But they can't. But they
did start with that though. But they did start with that, and still, keyboards and mice are one of the few things that they do hardware wise that is always maintained.
They don't make
some
it
level.
though.
That maintains they used to, but they kind of stopped.
That's my thing. No, that's my thing is they don't make it. They might put their logo on it, but they don't make it.
They made
hardware company.
They made those. Microsoft was always making mice.
They don't have the infrastructure for that. It's not what they do.
But they still design and let somebody else build it for them.
Yeah.
That's
my point. That's what I'm saying. Like Sony is a hardware company. This is why they need to say
Microsoft is software, right?
And then now, like when you look at Sony, I've been saying it for years that Sony, the hardware company, is not happy that PlayStation dominates their company the way it does, especially with them having to sell it at a loss or at cost.
Yeah,
right. They need to sell things for a profit. And I told y'all at the beginning of the generation, I said, y'all might as well get off of this discount talk. I said it. I didn't say it like that, but this is what I did say verbatim. I said Nintendo showed them the way. Nintendo showed them that the market will support them if they.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Sounds we're losing him.
He's coming back.
He's in a bad spot.
Back. Yeah.
Priced it to make a profit. And you want them to take what happened?
No, you're back. Keep going.
I left. Anyway. Anyway, I forgot now, but
well, anyway,
we're all getting old. See, it wasn't just me,
man. We're all like contagious to each other.
So
because my mind went to dang, where did I cut off at? And then I was like,
Well, we're at the 2.5 hour mark, man. It was a lot of talk, a lot of good stuff. I'm glad you got your Switch or your pre-order, and missed it.
Yep, congratulations.
And whoever else is watching this later on,
bro, we still got 2 more months.
No, not even, dude, because it comes out when?
It's less than 2 months. June 5th. That's less than 2 months. It's slightly less than 2 months.
Yes.
Slightly less.
It's like a month and a week.
It's barely a month.
Yeah, it's barely a month.
Yeah.
It's barely over a month of me.
So,
hey, okay.
Yeah.
All right. He says he's going to do a lot of things. So let's see it.
I'm going to do that probably at like 1 o'clock in the morning, probably 1 a.m. Eastern, but I'll do it.
Make use of that camera, that link.
I was about to say, let us know, man. We'll be there, but shoot, 1 o'clock. Why?
I'm just saying, listen, because if I do it then, that's going to be one of the first videos up there. Because my video was one of the first ones. I think that was like probably one of the first live unboxing that anybody did.
Is GameStop opening at midnight so you guys can collect it?
Yeah.
Oh, they are. Okay.
They're doing a midnight launch. Yeah, they're doing a midnight launch. Yeah.
Mm.
Yep. So, yeah, I'll do that.
Well, yeah. So, all right, man, let's get out of here. Because I got to get these kids' lunches ready to go for tomorrow. They got school and everything, so.
You meal prepping them, huh? That's what they call it? That's what they call it now, meal prep.
I prep everything the night before. That way in the morning, I just do whatever, like the sandwiches and stuff like that. Everything's already like bagged up, ready to go. Boom. Just pack it up and let's go. You know?
Nice.
So.
Nice. Super dad in a full effect.
That's right. All right, man. Let's get out of here. Good night, everybody. And we're out. Yay.
Peace.